It's Friday evening. It is now 8 minutes after 7. It is the 6th of August. Let me try to get everything. Forgive me, y'all. I'm a little ruffled. Life has a tendency of sometimes reminding you how you can't control anything, how you're just a spectator in this. Life is a spectator sport sometimes. And we do the best we can to enable trying to navigate through it, when we try to navigate through it, sometimes we seem to be bumping in walls and things like this. So it's my present situation right now, circumstance, seems like I'm bumping into a whole lot of walls. So I hope you don't mind as I'm trying to get everything together. And unfortunately, I think this show will be a short show in comparison to the shows that we've had in the past. So I want to make sure everything is going good and everyone's on point, that nothing is in the way. As always, Facebook causing all kinds of issues and deterrents and makes everything slow down and have to wait. Issues and deterrents makes everything slow down and have to wait. Issues and deterrents. Okay. So I think we're about ready. But it is what it is. We're going to rock it the best way possible. Welcome to the show at 7 p.m. It's your boy Mo Delgado. This is the new norm. Obviously, the new norm. Not everything runs well, runs without a kink. You just have to adapt and let it roll. I'd like to say hello to everyone who's on. Those of us who have been waiting to be part of the show. Those of us who are still planning on being part of the show a little later on. Look forward if that's possible. Sometimes that's a motivator to stay on for an extended amount of time as well. Because here on the new norm, if you've been paying attention, we're the internet talk show that brings you into the conversation. And there's so much to talk about in the world. There's so many things that we should be discussing with regards to how life is and the variations of things that we have to adapt to. There we go. I'll use this brown light instead of the blue light. And it's the other light. This is the bright light. Okay. Let me bring it down a little bit, y'all. For now. Hoping everybody can see me. Got to make sure I change things over. So we seem the same. It's just how, no matter how prepared you think you can be, sometimes just not prepared enough, right, y'all? So anyway, it's Friday and it's August. And I don't know about you, but yet again, it's another summer has been somewhat slow, somewhat disappointing, because all the plans that we've had, just don't seem to come to fruition, sad to say. All the hopes and dreams we can have to really enjoy a summer, in spite of the pandemic, in spite of all the issues that people have, just seems to always get in the way, man. So it's just, anyway. But as the name of the show says, it's the new norm. We have to get accustomed to it and adapt to it the best way possible. So let's get to the nuts and bolts of it. Let's start talking about some things that are far more important than my whining right now. Let's talk lately about the stimulus. Yes, there is a stimulus still pending. Some of us have been lucky enough to receive some payments from the Department of Treasury, in essence, nearly $500, part of a Stabilization Act. And those funds are sorely needed in a lot of lives, and in so many lives, it's still pending. And I'll say still pending because the federal government has suggested that everyone who's received some form of stimulus or some form of financial support is eligible to receive this. So look out for that Stabilization Act money, which is, I think it's $500 for per submission as far as income tax submission. So if you're a single person, I think it's $500 for you, and if you're married couple filing jointly, it's only $500 for you. But either which way, five goes a long way. Five stacks are a good thing when you have nothing, right? So you have that. In addition to, there's a potential stimulus being discussed right now that has to do with the child income credit tax, right? And what's being discussed or proposed right now is that the limits that we have right now, just recently that launched in July, you'll be getting small increments of $200 every month until like 6 months per se, or you'll get one lump sum, or you opt out and then wait till next year and then you'll get something. Well, that whole system is said to be limiting, and it's not inclusive of a lot of individuals that are going through a lot of financial struggles right now. So some senators are discussing a whole new proposal that elevates the income limitations to $90,000 per person. So that, in essence, opens up the door for a lot more people who are going through struggles. And it's not to say that someone who's making $90,000 a year shouldn't be struggling, because I tell you what, it'd be nice if I made $90,000 a year. I think I would be enjoying a life a lot more. But we can't live in each other's pockets. We don't know what people's responsibilities are. So whatever bit of assistance that can be sent out through the federal government, through this whole process of the economy itself, I think it'd be a welcome addition to. However, the Republican Party and a lot of conservatives are still concerned of where all this money is coming from. If you know what I know, and if you've been paying attention since eons from the beginning, we've been printing money endlessly. That's why the dollar has very, very little value in the United States and around the world, because we have, at one point in time, used to be backed by gold and silver. But nowadays, it's not even backed. It's just talked about. When they say greenbacks, that's all it is. It's backed green. There's nothing backing it. Just the back is green, per se. So, and then the U.S. government cannot print money. It's the Federal Reserve, which is odd. Again, it's one of those type of systems that it's been going continuously, and we don't know why it has to go that way, other than Constitution, and I mean, not the Constitution, but laws that suggest that it must be doing that, even though it doesn't make sense. Where the Federal Reserve is a independent agency of the government that works along as a partnership to the government, that is somewhat held in high regards with the economy itself, and too often is the impetus to suggest what is and what isn't in the economy, including inflation, interest rates, something that's very important in the economy today. So they're the only ones that can print money. And boy, I'm pretty certain that those printing press are starting to load up one more time to see what kind of stimulus this impetus can possibly mobilize in our society today. It is now in the last stages of this stimulus, the infrastructure bill. The text has just been released recently to suggest how much money and in what specific areas are suggested in this infrastructure bill. This infrastructure bill is in essence over $2.1 trillion. That's a whole lot of Skrilla. That's a whole lot of money. But there's a lot of it that's having to do with things that are very important that should have been addressed eons ago, which is bridges and streets, rail line, which is the one thing that seems to be its most antiquated out of everything. The transportation, airlines, roads, the internet, the different things that we have to. The electrical grid, all those things are involved into it. There's a lot of other things. The actual bill is over 2,700 pages. It's just recently released. While we're on, I'm going to see if I can tap it on so we can touch on it. And maybe we can really identify some of the things there so it can make sense, because ultimately, um, everything that's being discussed, um, everything that's being discussed, it impacts you and I. So let me see if I can find it in the meantime. Oh, it's talked about insiders saying that the infrastructure is $4.5 trillion. That's even more money. So, with that being said, a lot of it's being discussed because it's necessary. Forgive me. Not long ago, I would say within the past 5 years, we've had some really disturbing happenings have happened throughout the nation where bridges have fallen apart, roads have swept away, the overlying necessity for our roadways and our bridges has been resonating even louder and louder in a lot of our communities, including the community that I call home, which is Atlantic City right now, with two bridges that are fragile and in essence, it's basically excluding them from Atlantic City. Those residents that live in that community are ostracized and placed in a really precarious and potentially dangerous situation because administrations have failed to address the issue in a timely way and done so we won't be in such a predicament right now. But that'll be discussed a little bit down the line, a little bit longer, a little bit further on in the show. But back to the infrastructure. Right now, it's just the physical infrastructure bill that's being discussed. Further on, the human infrastructure, which is the one that has probably the most gray area in it and the one that's most needed, which has to do a lot with rebuilding mental health networks, the systems of education. In that, there's also some supplemental income that can be derived from or disseminated to individuals and families in need. In that, it's also, in this infrastructure bill, also one of the important factors that there's supplemental assistance for renters and property owners who have renters. So that's going to come in a whopping relief to a majority of individuals, a really large percentage of individuals. I know here in Atlantic City there is an abundant amount of property owners who are seeking that kind of refuge. So they can continue owning the properties and renting to people at the rates that they were renting. So that's extremely important. So that's the infrastructure. Pay attention to it. It's starting to roll off. It's done pretty well. You've had a lot of support for it, the physical infrastructure. And then in the final stages of this, the decision will be made and it'll be a long time launch, and it will affect and impact all Americans. And you will see lots of opportunities for coming about. I think this infrastructure is something that New Jersey may be waiting for, in essence, to place it in the agenda of politics. You and I both know, anybody's paying attention, when it's political season, a lot of activity happens, a lot of things just out of the blue starts happening, and things that should have been taken care of years before all of a sudden pop up. So they have fodder for their agenda moving forward to say, this is what I've accomplished. When it's not necessarily something that you've accomplished, it's something that you're finally going to benefit from that's been spearheaded years before you, if not decades before you, and it just lands in your lap. Or if it is happening during your election, it's because you finally put some effort into getting something done, and you're doing it now in a strategic format so it can help you look good on your campaign. Either which way, folks, for those of us who are out there needing this money so things can get done, these streets can get fixed, these bridges can get repaired, let's cross our fingers and hope that can come in, because ultimately it's all about you. It's all about us that live in the communities that depend on the road and the bridges to traverse by so we can have normalcy in our lives. So it's coming. It's coming. Hopefully sooner than later. Moving forward, I know we talked a little bit about the infrastructure or the stimulus before, but I think there's a lot more discussion taking place moving ahead because the pandemic, numbers of the pandemic seem to be increasing. And at times, in certain areas, it spikes, of course, because of the summer season and tourism, and then the drive for travel. A lot of Americans have wanted to travel all over the place because of the cabin fever they've endured through, and the limitations they've endured through recently because of the pandemic, and they've seen some spikes. And then this whole situation about vaccinations. There was so much liberty provided because people have been vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and in many cases, not vaccinated enough or not vaccinated at all, but pretending to be vaccinated just so they can enjoy the luxury of not having to wear a mask. As the CDC once said, it was okay not to wear masks. Oddly enough, 2 weeks later, then all of a sudden that was rolled back and say, no, pump your brakes, please, wear your mask. Now, 2 weeks later, everyone must start wearing their mask even more so. It's suggested, it's recommended, it's a hint. Nudge, nudge. We don't want to mandate you, but cover your faces. And now, in the 11th hour, New Jersey has mandated that all schools, personnel, and students, all schools, all buildings that have to do with schools now are mandated that anyone entering and are in these schools have to wear masks. It's not a bad thing. I've said before, I think it's the new norm that we have to get accustomed to. We're still seeing spikes going on, and there's more and more discussion about how this variant is so aggressive, and it's so it's overwhelming a lot of areas because of the lax. When we were in the first stages of the pandemic, mobility was taking place, accessibility, some of the PPEs. Personal protection equipment was made available, and then people were really being on point about the different things that were going on, and it was mobilizing, hoping to eradicate it. But as vaccinations came about, more people started getting comfortable. The system started lacking a little bit more. There was gaps in time frame and turnaround, and now we're in a restart situation. Sadly enough, we've never finished the first stages of the pandemic. We've just been faced with a variant now, even with a threat that there may be another variant even more aggressive and more dangerous in our lives. They're saying that this Delta variant is not more dangerous. It's equally as dangerous as the first variant of this SARS-CoV-19. However, it's so aggressive, more people can become contagious. And there's an emphasis to suggest that the people who are catching it more are the people who are unvaccinated. However, we've seen many reports how people that were vaccinated have still caught the COVID-19 and now the Delta variant and succumbed to it. Unfortunately, a few people have died. People are being hospitalized. They've had to be intubated. This whole procedure still continues. This whole status still continues now with more variant colors, using the Delta variant, now potentially a Theta. Now they're talking about things that are coming down the pipeline. It still goes to show you that we have to be very responsible for ourselves and those around us. If you're going to go into an area that you know people go into, and you may be in the presence of others, just make sure that you mask up. Try to stay 6 feet away from one another. Make sure that your hygiene, the protocols in hygiene and personal hygiene continues. Using hand sanitizers, washing your hands, and all things that touch. If you go into corner stores and what have you, understand that any plastic, anything hard surfaces can actually carry the germ. People can suffer from these germs. So, it's back to what we were starting to become acquainted with. So just be very, very careful, because the Delta variant, the numbers are starting to increase as we're going on. There's still a discussion about when, because ultimately what has to be done is the amount of cases has to come to a plateau and hopefully decline. And the more it declines and more people are vaccinated and less opportunities for people to become ill and to spread it, the more opportunities it can to basically encapsulate the actual germ itself, wherever it is, COVID-19, and hopefully find a solution to how to eradicate it and to finally make it disappear. Is it possible? In the age of Star Wars and the Avengers and all things man-made, I truly believe that there is a way that this can be eradicated, like all illnesses. But it takes the effort, the want, the know-how, and I'm hoping that someone who's brilliant stumbles onto the way to finally eradicate it if they haven't already, and then launch into the world freely so we can be free of this threat. We are living comfortably in the United States. However, there's parts of the world that are still suffering. Death is a little more frequent in the lives of people who have ongoing health issues. One of the issues is obesity and diabetes and what have you, which is, again, if you look at it from specific eyes, it looks like it's a strategic mode unto a specific group of people. But if you look at it from a different scope, it's not, it's just status and circumstance, it just happens. However, you still have to make sure that whatever the circumstance is, whatever the true data is, be aware of all the information that's possibly coming in as much as possible. I know sometimes information can become redundant, and at times it can also become damaging because it creates this onset of fear, this terrorizing feeling inside as you don't feel like you can go outside, you can't do this and do that because it's lurking around the corner waiting to get you. I'm at a belief that you can still live a normal life. You just have to apply more attention to what you're doing and be very cautious of how you're doing it. You can still enjoy a pretty good life. And in many cases, if you can, a damn good life. So as we move forward, just pay attention. We here at The New Norm have been advocates of everyone to be as knowledgeable as possible about not only SARS-CoV-19, but its variants and as well as the vaccinations. And then the circumstances that seem to be popping up, having to do in connection with all the different elements of this circumstance now, whether it's the side effects of the vaccine or how the variation is working or the variant is working along with other illnesses, how it seems to accentuate more symptoms in certain instances, like we've heard with the vaccine, how in some cases young men, we had enlargements of the heart. And we've heard in some cases with this vaccine where young women had occurrences of blood clot issues. So, we just have to pay attention. It is said, and it's still a big concern, this rap icon, Willie D, had made a mention of something that really is something just to consider. It's not an anti-vaxxer, pro-vaxxer, anything. It's just something that needs to consider. It's a hard pill to digest, this whole concept of the vaccine being pushed upon the people of color, because never has been a resolution or solution been provided to those to the poor at such a rate as it is now. The poor have never had this opportunity of finding some resolve or resolution towards something that can potentially take their lives the way this has. No other instance, no other illness, nothing. Anytime a resolution resolve has ever taken place, the wealthy have always gotten the best share and then it trickled down to the very end to finally the poor. So it's just a concern. If you are a professional out there trying to make sure that vaccines are going out there, I know the job is very difficult at times because we have too many traditional reasons not to trust this herd mentality. And I can't stand that term. But there's so many reasons why we don't trust it. However, if it wasn't for people like Jonas Salk and the efforts that more of us would be dead. And if it wasn't for the efforts that he was able to find a vaccine that enabled an actual eradication of something like polio, we wouldn't have it. So we need to have a vaccine. We need to find a solution, and we need to be very adamant at being part of the solution, not part of the problem. So if you haven't been vaccinated, look into the information possible. Double check with your doctors to make sure that it's something for you. Find the best location where you can get it, and then get it. And if you're not looking to be vaccinated, of course, your life is even more complicated. You have to make sure that you don't become the bane of our existence by carrying the COVID-19, by succumbing it to COVID-19 ultimately, but not to share it or not to be the super spreader that you potentially can be. So get yourself checked, get COVID tests more constant, make sure your vitamin D levels are high, making sure you take your supplements, get your education. I mean, your physical status, your health status, as peak as possible. So whatever you can do, just make sure that you pay attention to your health and do the best that you can by staying at the best health possible, so you can avoid being the next victim. All right, so that's what we're talking about as far as COVID-19. And moving forward, we know that COVID-19 is such a real thing in our lives that we have to look for new adventures on how to be less counterproductive in ourselves. Just recently, there was video releases and pictures of a concert that took place in Chicago. And the concert, for those who know, was Lollapalooza. They said 100,000 people were there, arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder, at this concert series Lollapalooza. It is said that people, in order for them to get into the concert, they had to show that they were vaccinated. But we've seen plenty of situations where people who were not vaccinated have gotten false documents just to be able to do the things that they want to. And in some systems who are supposed to check to make sure vaccinations are taking place, they're verified, can't because the information is not easily available, it's not accessible, and then the editing systems or the monitoring systems are not capable of carrying such mass loads. And that's besides some of the hookups that some people feel it's necessary for them to get by. You know, when it comes to the hookup continues, and we have to really be patient of this stuff because there's still concerts taking place right now in the cities and towns around us, and we are human beings that like to be among other human beings. So as we see the end of the summer, expect quite a few. In the greater Philadelphia area, there's Music Fest taking place, and this is something, Music Fest is a very populated 8-day festival, and it's free, and there's lots of music that goes on. It's on the outskirts of Philadelphia that happens, and Music Fest didn't happen last year because the pandemic, and this year they came about. They're expecting some in excess of 300,000 people to come in and out. They're having a lot of information there. There's doctors and nurses there. There's testing. There's the vaccination clinics or the mobile vaccination centers will be available also. So it's helpful, but it's still 300,000 people in a small area just to be there to have a good time. Those are things that we have to consider. But before we continue going, greetings to my brother, my co-host, my man Adrian. How are you, brother?
Yo, what's going on, Mo? I'm just listening to how you're talking about the Love Fest. Everybody gets together. That's what it's all about. That's America for you, you know. United we stand, you know.
United we stand, yeah. United we die.
Yeah. And divided we fall. That's the other part to it.
That's very true, but I'll tell you what, you ain't gonna catch me there.
I thought you was gonna have the hookup, man. I was looking for a brother to get a hookup.
I love festivals.
Is that the hookup or the hiccup? Which one?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, a hookup can sometimes hook you up with the wrong device. It could be a hookup that put you in the ground, man. But
yeah, but I saw you at that opening down on the walk down there.
Yeah, at a distance, you saw me in the back. You saw me in the back.
I said, wait until I grind him in the ground for this one, you know.
Mm-hmm. I was sitting on the back. I was making sure that I showed up because I wanted to make sure.
I saw the hat back there.
Mm-hmm. I sat in the back. I mean, because ultimately, you never know how situations are and people are. But I wanted to show some love and appreciation for a new business that popped up, and it's a new Black-owned business that comes up into the walk called Vegans R Us. It is an established business that has a location in Vineland, New Jersey, and it's been very successful there, very wildly supported in the whole nine. And the connections that we have is apparently the one of the chefs or the steering partners of this venture is from Atlantic City, so they found the opportunity to open it up here. My wife is never. Um, she doesn't see the scope and the necessity. She doesn't think that it could be as supportive because, oddly enough, folks are just they don't look at vegan food as something that they want or they like. But in essence, I mean, if you think about it, if you take out the burger, you're eating a lot more vegan shit than you actually consider. It's just vegetables. It's not like you're trying to grind up different forms of clay and dirt and trying to create a masterpiece out of it. It's just a vegetable, man. But their menu is extensive, and some of the stuff that they're offering, I'm like, yo, that's a challenge. Anytime you had, they call it Beast Mac and Cheese. I'm like, okay, mac and cheese is one of those things that attract many people.
Did you see beets?
And I'm like, Beast. I'm like, wow, mac and cheese. And then there's other things in there with like chicken and things like this. But I'm like, it's a vegan place, so obviously it must be a plant-based substitute for this thing. But they're talking about if you look at the menu, it's a challenge. Like, hold up, I got to see how they create this, but I've heard nothing but fanfare. So, any way that I can change the practice of me eating healthy and being, having access to stuff that's healthy, I'm going for it. I do it anyway, even subconsciously. So,
well, ever since COVID, a lot of people have changed their diets in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people start eating or try to eat a little better. So, I mean, you got to give them, E for effort. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult situation, and the young lady who is partner of this venture explained her. She went through a really tragic situation, and the tragedy she has, she's trying to conform that tragedy into victory. And I applaud her for doing that because she's lost a lot of people in her life. I mean, really tragic. Like, and I can't be exact to who, so I'm not even going to try to. But she had a lot of people who recently passed away within the past year, and a lot of it health concerns and things like that. So what she was doing is trying to see of a better way to do so. The better way to make life easier. So that's what she did. She put it together and created this venture, and now she's here in the city. So I'm like, great. This is a great opportunity. I like when people jump and leap into things that are helpful. There's always somebody willing to sell you crap because, you can always find the best substitute coming out of China or the fakest food products that were mass duplicated someplace else. But when it comes to health, sometimes it comes out to be more expensive. But in the long run, it's the best kind of investment. So, it sounds good. And everyone always says the same thing. It's great food. I'm like, bet. My wife says, I'll go there for a smoothie. That's what my wife said. And she just tapped on that. She'll go for the smoothie. I was like, all right, you go for the smoothie. I'm going to get a nice food, whatever the situation, and really enjoy it. And hopefully be blessed by the nutrients that I know I need.
The thing about it is because, like I said, it's a black-owned business. Give them some business. Show them some love. That's what I'm saying.
Got to.
What I'm saying? Show them some love because I know what it's like when you first trying out. When you first opening up a business, it's never easy because it took a lot for you just to get to the point after the licensing and the contracting and all of the people that you have to hire. An army of people to try to get you get your business up and running. So. The first 5 years, the federal government don't, sees that as, you can write it off as a loss because especially during COVID now. So it's very tough to open up, a brick and mortar business during these trying times. So if they open up one, I really applaud them for pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
I wish them the best of success. There's no doubt about it. And I myself may go down there and try some, dish or whatever the case may be. Because that's what it's all about. What goes around comes around. And that's what it's all about. You show nothing but love. And that's how small business entrepreneurs, that's how we build our business.
Absolutely. Let me give you some ideas of some of the things that they're making or they're offering. I took a picture of the menu. It was kind of off. But the one I was talking about is called the Ultimate Beast Mac and Cheese Burger. That's all vegan. Quesadillas, pulled barbecue jackfruit sandwich. Jackfruit's like it's consistency of chicken. mushroom cheesesteaks, crispy buffalo chicken sandwich, meatball sub, falafel balls, pizza steaks, grilled cheese. A lot of the stuff that's comfort food, but it's the vegan alternative.
Yeah.
Double spicy chicken.
You might like it when you go down there. You might just like, what's on the menu. You could ask them, this is what I'm looking to get. Do you have something equivalent to what I'm looking, to have for lunch or dinner or whatever the case may be? And they may just have an alternative for you.
Yeah. I don't know. It's only one thing I see here doesn't look tempting. It's called a soul sloppy. It's savory ground sloppy topped with tater tots and melted cheese. I'm like, life is too sloppy on its own. I'm not going to eat anything that's cold.
About Mo, there's an old adage: don't knock it until you try it.
Yeah, all right. Anyway.
Don't knock it until you try it.
Anyway.
I've eaten around this country, different places, and I've come to the point of view: don't knock it until you try it. That's about it.
I hear you, but I'm gonna eat the kale salad. I like kale.
You never know. You might be one of their favorite fans when it comes down to that. You never know. Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. I got you right away. I'll come with you. Okay.
Yeah, hell.
Yep. But they have organic coffees and things like that. So, but again, as you said, this is a black business that just opened up post-pandemic. So it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? So as I said, to take a brave leap into business in an area is not that friendly either about business, because when it comes to black business in Atlantic City, man, it's not easy for black business to exist anywhere really, but it's really hard in an atmosphere where we're still feel to be made like we're foreign, and even in an element that sometimes we can't find the support within our own community sometimes. So black businesses struggle to get black dollars from black people. So either which way, it's something that's good. It's called Vegans R Us. It's right across from H&M. And if you're looking for good food, what I mean is food that makes you feel good and is healthy, go check them out. Prices are according. This is Atlantic City, but the investment is yours. If you invest in your body, then all this stuff is a drop in a bucket. If you're willing to pay $70 for a piece of steak and give you a heart attack, take a fraction of that and get yourself a plant-based substitute, and you can enjoy the rest of it for the rest of your life because you'll live longer. How's that? Try that. Let's go. Right? Don't
knock it till you try it. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah. Keep trying it. Keep eating it. Matter of fact, force yourself to eat more vegetables. Don't even wait to like it. Just you know how one of the things, how they say an acquired taste is for the people who have taste, an acquired taste. Learn how to like it, y'all. Learn how to like it.
Well, a lot of people never really grew up eating fruits and vegetables unless you grew up on the island or down south somewhere. Some people think that some people think that French fries is a vegetable.
Exactly. The only forms of vegetables they've ever had.
French fry is a vegetable.
That was it. If it doesn't come fried, it's a condiment of a sandwich.
Fried, dyed, or multiplied.
Basically. And I'm like, but I'm hoping that people take that chance to go out there. Like I said, they seem to be very nice people as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're gonna go and support.
Show your love. That's what it's all about.
That's it. Even more so, spend your money, because you can go there and wish them well, but they won't pay their bills. So go spend some money. Go spend some money. So we've always been advocates to minority businesses. Business in general, but minority business is more. And
maybe one of these days we might get one of those individuals to come on and tell us, all about what's going on there.
Yeah. Or we'll do a live broadcast from
exactly.
the side. We'll be in the shop and just passing the veggies, pulling good vibes and good veggies at the same time.
Pass the Dutchie on the left hand side.
Oh, no, you didn't. As you can tell. My brother Adrian has this radio station that he's so proud of, and he is on the mode. He's been musically locked in forever. Anyway, that's part of his soul, as myself. But I'm pretty certain there's a lot of one-liners are coming about that were titles of songs that become. So.
Yeah, even Gina was getting sick and tired of them. She's like, "Come on, Adrian, that came from another song." That's all I've listened to damn near all my life.
Hell yeah, of course. Well, when we were listening to it wasn't old school. It was the actual thing at the time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Right. So it's just now it's considered old school. I'm like, nah, it's classic. You know,
Yeah,
classic.
you know.
It's not old school. It's classic music. But that's how we look at it. We look at things differently. You know.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. You know, life is all about enjoyment. You know, people are stressing. I've seen a few friends and family members just fall off the tree of life. Why the hell would you want to take life so damn serious?
Mm.
You know, that's the bottom line. You raise the blood pressure, you raise, every freaking, vessel and organ in your damn body. And then you fall off the tree of life. You know, laugh a little, enjoy yourself, dance a lot.
Yeah.
Take time out to smell the roses. That's what it's about. Enjoy family if they allow you to.
Yeah. And then there's alcohol. I'm not advocating, but I'm just saying a little bit helps the system break down the toxins. So, but to each their own.
If you're into it, that's all good. You know what I'm saying? If you're into it, it's all good. You know, some of us don't need any drugs to get us high because we're on a natural high.
That's you. You are the man. You're the man.
On a natural high, bro. That's about it.
That's right. That's right. You're the man.
You know, today I was telling my girl, I mentioned about I was getting ready to say, I was gonna have a Coke, but I said a rum and Coke. She started dying laughing. You know, like she's like, you don't have a drink. You know, I mean,
you know what? That's a good trait. Actually, that's a good trait. As I joke around with people and everything, if you have no vice, that doesn't make you less of a human.
No, you're all human.
It's just not you. It's just not you. That's all. And a lot of people, and I even joke around, like I seldom drink. I have a stack bar, and I kept it because traditionally I've been trained to be a bartender. Mm-hmm. I'm raised in a family where alcohol has been part of a lot of the festive events that we have. If it's a birthday party, if it's a reason for us to get together, we're going to crack open a bottle, have some beer, whatever the situation, to help people unwind, along with the food. That's just part of a tradition. So I continue the tradition. However, I don't indulge as much. Every once in a while, I might crack open something in my tours just to have a little something on it to, as they say, ease the edge off, because I don't indulge in anything else. Mm-hmm. But I seldom do it. So it's just there. Good thing is it doesn't go. There's no shelf life. Alcohol can last forever, so it's cool. You know,
yeah. It is what it is. I mean, mm-hmm. Different strokes for different folks. It's not for everyone.
That's right. So if you keep whatever the stroke that you do, keep stroking. That's all. It's on you.
Hey, music is on a natural high. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Speaking about stroking and being high and all that stuff, Nikki Dorn was on. I see she's making gestures. Yeah. But she don't come on the show no more. I'm like, all right, I see you. Are you coward? You scared to be on now? Was that the
problem? Exactly. Still hiding in the shades of darkness.
Mm-hmm. Background, yeah. Because she probably got her boo sitting next to her like she normally does. Mm-hmm. But we ain't gonna talk a little bit about that.
No, not at all.
But how's been your week, man? Your week been okay? How's your week?
Fantabulous, man. I'm telling you. I've gotten this far in life, and tomorrow's a big day for me again. Mm-hmm. Turning a big 5'7". So
that's right, baby.
A lot of people never made it to the mid 50s.
That's right. Steak sauce.
You go over, you're doing pretty good.
Heinz ain't got shit on you. Your type of 57 is better than
this. Keep getting those checkups, man. I'm telling you, you pay your doctor to keep you above ground. Remember that. Mm-hmm. And every time I go to my doctor, I let him know I pay you a good bit of money to keep me above ground. That's what it's about.
That's right. So what do we have planned for your evening? Do you think you're just going to be hanging out with the family? You're going to go get something to eat?
Yeah, I'm going to dinner. Go find nice place. Go dinner.
Okay. What's your favorite place to go to?
I've been to a lot of different places like Verdi's. In Tropicana. I've been there before. So looking at the Borgata. Looking at dining at the Borgata probably this Monday or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your preferred cuisine? Do you prefer Italian food? You mentioned Verdi.
Well, it varies. I enjoy, Caribbean food, man. That's it. I'm from the West Indies. You get a craving for that here and there. There's no doubt.
I hear you, but Verdi.
There are many restaurants of that type in this entire area.
I was about to say Verdi comes from the farthest end of the Caribbean, farthest end, Italy, way on the side.
I know, but like I said, I've eaten in different places, but I still love the West Indian cuisine, no doubt.
Yeah, I love
like that old saying goes, you Trinity to the bone. That's the bottom line.
Okay. There goes another saying. Here we go.
Trinity to the bone.
That's right. But you know what, man?
I'm not talking about your wife is also Trinity to the bone too. Come to find that out, because her nickname is also Trini.
Yeah, that's her. That's her nickname, Trinae.
Yeah.
but it's all good. I actually had a chance to speak with my friend from Trinidad. Remember I told you I got a friend of mine who's
Correct.
always been like by my side, behind
Mhm.
me, my partner forever. She just reached out and I was like, you're always in mind and I'm hoping everything is good. Every Friday night we talk and Trini's on the soul and the whole nine. And she was laughing. She was like, everything is good and everything. She's just as transitions are taking place. It's unfortunate, but her circumstance is a little bit more complicated, so she
Yeah.
dealt with a lot of things in the way, but it was good to hear. And it was just a reminder, how we talk so much about the origins that you celebrate in Trinidad, that
Mhm.
the first contact that I had from a Trinidadian um, was a long lasting friendship forever. We've had forever, like from college. So that's over what, 30 years
Okay.
now? Been good friends
Long
and stuff.
time. Yeah, long time. A lot of history there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we have a lot of laughs that we share. But it's all good. Like I said, I was able to see her. But let's talk about some local shit. Let's talk about some real shit that's going on. You're paying attention of how this new the rental, actually not the rental assistance because it's not called that just yet, but the
Moratorium.
right, the moratorium itself has been
Okay.
extended.
I
But
keep
in it,
track of all that, bro.
say again.
You know I keep track of all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's what I was saying. I wanted to touch base on it because now there's additional support services that are going to be made available through the states to help people with rental assistance. I know myself and I have to give credit where credit is due. Nikki Dorn, in her professional presence, had suggested a satellite program through the municipality to help people in a bad rental situation to help get some assistance by registering. My colleague also was on the same like mine, Latoya Dunstan. So
Mhm.
we're going to try to mobilize a system to go out and make ourselves available using laptops so people can register and get support systems that are put in place to help with rental assistance, to be able to fill that gap that you weren't able to fill during the time of this pandemic. So we're going to try to, instead of adding to the problems, we're going to try to be part of the solution. So it's something that's good, man. But are you paying attention to how
You
the
know,
debate?
let me pause you for a second there,
Go ahead,
because
man.
just in case you mentioned Nikki Dawn and you mentioned your colleagues and everything.
Hmm.
If and while you're out, and you see anyone that actually needs any further assistance as far as owning a home or whatever the case may be, and if they're facing any foreclosure crisis,
There we go.
I give them I could contact them virtually, and I'll extend my services to them the best possible way I know how.
That's yep.
And I'll give them that courtesy.
See, we're adding on to it. Always been advocates for everyone out there needing a help, but always adding information to those people who may not be informed. So again, I applaud you, brother, because I know you're out there always helping people. Have been doing it for years, so I know that's without needing to say. But let's say it again, just so people understand it.
I met
That
your wonderful mother-in-law this past a few days ago.
she did tell me that you were able to connect, which is good.
Yeah,
You know,
nice, very nice lady.
yeah, she's all right.
I just remember you said that.
She'll probably get me later on. She'll get me later.
You hear it ear fully and enough times.
Well, I said this before. Every once in a while, I need her to curse me out because I need that we have that relationship. If she don't
It's,
use those foul,
it's
strong
called
words,
writing a reality check.
it's just a relationship we have, man.
Yeah,
I
I can
feel
dig it.
love. I feel love when she curses me out. What I get is love.
It must
I
be in
feel
the
love.
tone of voice.
It's just I know
It's a
where it
loving
comes from.
tone.
It's never a sense of hatred or of vitriol, any kind of pain when she says these things to me. It's always in love. I see she's on it now.
I told you.
And I say it all the time. I said, I can't go for too long unless you can curse me out. So I'll engage so she can curse me out at least once here and there because I need that. It's the fire that she has inside her that reminds me that
So good.
she's still there and that fire is strong.
So good.
Yeah. So that was funny. I knew she was going to tap in.
Yeah, that's the reason why I said let me pause you there for a second.
That's why I say
take that for momentary, you know.
That's why I say she's all right. Yeah, but I'm glad you were able to reach out to her because hopefully everything will be better soon.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
it is. There's no doubt. You know, the thing about it is because even like I've said, I've worked on many cases,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and a lot of people from the negative connotation of certain words can trigger people. You know, one of the trigger words out there is foreclosure, bankruptcy, and things of that nature, repossession. All of these things, are, curse words, taboo type words. But in actuality, when you've been through it and you've seen, it isn't that bad to tell you the truth.
Right.
So a lot of people, see doom and gloom. I've came across a gentleman that told me that his friend committed suicide. I mentioned that last week or the week before because of foreclosure, but there was help available where he never reached out, so he never got it. So he thought everything was hopeless. It's never hopeless, folks. As long as you're alive and you keep on breathing and keep on waking up, you're okay. You live to fight another day.
Yep. Absolutely, absolutely. And we're seeing a lot of these situations take place right now. The pandemic has caused people to shut down, and at times go into darker realms in their mind than they've ever been, and it's scary.
Yeah.
So
it has become a mental situation more so than ever. A mental situation, and I don't see it getting any better anytime soon because they kick the can down the road. Yes, a lot of people are able to breathe, but now a lot of places are going to start back closing down again because the summer's practically over. Maurice Pier down in Wildwood, they said we need a large number of people, but a lot of these kids are going back to school, so we're going to have to probably close. Look at what's happening with Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Spirit. Spirit is like 2,000 reservations and stuff.
Canceled, switched over. It was crazy. I was like, see, that's why I like Spirit.
It's insane.
That's why I don't like Spirit.
This one lady says, they told her, hey, we'll give you your money back. It says, what about, the Uber that I took to get here, paid them $100. Are you going to give me that money back also? What? Just to get to the freaking airport, and then you cancel the freaking flights. There should be, I'll bet my money anytime that Congress is going to pass a law after this with Spirit. That when you cancel these flights, they should have let all of these people know this and way in advance before they even left their homes. Don't let them get to the airport, folks, because that's bad.
I've heard the complaints where certain companies, I think Delta was being identified too, where they was actually switching up flights on people without letting them know.
You go to Cancun, you end up in Puerto Rico.
I mean, switching shit up. Like, yo, it don't look like I'm in Aruba. You somewhere else to eat a Coke. You're in Colorado instead of Aruba.
Exactly. You go into LA and you end up in Boston.
Hell yeah. I mean, like, come on now. There's a big difference between Vancouver, Canada, and Cancun, Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
That's insane, man. And they said tomorrow is going to be another day because now we're going into the weekend. So it's going to be totally insane again. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the weekend. It's the worst for the airlines.
Yeah. And there's so many, and there was a big rush. That's the thing I was saying earlier. There was a rush of people like rushing, really. You saw deals like right now, Southwest has that $49 one-way deal they do every year, right? So it's a great opportunity for people that can jump on it. However, during these circumstances right now, trust me, it ain't going to be as easy as you once had before, and it's not going to go to the place that you want to go to. You're trying to get to Miami. The closest you get is like Denver, Colorado. You'll end up in places you don't want to be, and that's the only way you can get there.
Yeah, everybody starts traveling because they think that COVID is over. They're like, something, they open back up the economy. It's all said and done. We're good to go.
Man, I watch every once in a while these travel videos, right? I try to fill my time and my space sometimes when I'm on a down, you know what I mean? And I'm just trying to chill, whatever. And I watch a lot of travel videos so I can conceptualize what I'm looking at, where I want to go whenever chance I'm able to go to. And it was looking at this one video, this one guy, his name is Ace. And this guy Ace goes around. This brother travels a lot of places, and he went to Mexico. And outside of Cancun, these regions outside of that, like I didn't know they were so pretty and so tourist-oriented the way they were and safe, which was really cool. But I'm seeing the amount of people that are there. I'm like, it seemed like 90% of California is there. They're all like Southern Californians running to Mexico to act the hell up. No mask, wilding out, doing all kinds of nasty debauchery shit, all kinds of things they want to.
This weekend, Sturgis. Sturgis is
Sturgis, was this weekend?
Yeah, it's kicking off this weekend also.
Woo! So all the good old boys out there on the road,
all the bikers, you know, the banners. If you want a Trump banner, great place to find one. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because we're in August and Trump is still not president, despite what he told you guys.
All the wonderful flags that'll be raised up in Sturgis. That's crazy. You know what's sad though? It was just like a couple weeks ago. I remember watching the mayor of Sturgis talk about how much the economy there really thrives, and they depend on the bike week that happens in Sturgis. And you know, it's one of those type of things that they cannot go without it. You know what I mean? That whole economy, the area needs it so much that they can't go back.
Do you know how many people they're expecting? 700,000 people are expected to go to Sturgis.
So you imagine the gas stations in there, because they're all motorcycles.
The gas stations gonna be running out of gas, because remember, they still have a hard time getting gasoline in certain places because of the pandemic and the shortage.
Hell yeah. All the leather shops, you know, they looking for opportunities, man. Everyone that grows up, a motorcycle, you got everything around motorcycles and that type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
They're looking for the opportunities and money, but the other programs are involved. The bars, oh my God, they're looking for the money because people love to drink, get it drunk on it all night long, and then all the other stuff that takes place. So it's a big economic boost in that area. We know that.
Certainly.
But the risk is involved. I would not be in Sturgis. God bless anyone who goes out there. Be safe out there.
God bless you and Sturgis.
Exactly, but you ain't gonna catch me out there. I'll see a couple videos of how you guys.
Do you have a bike or a bicycle? Which one?
That'll be a roller skate. That's it, roller skates. I know myself. If I was to get a motorcycle, I would have to have like a big Harley or something like that, because I know I like speed. Not to say that they're not speed. I know someone that has one for sale. It's rusty. Nah. If I'm interested in buying anything, it would be a food truck. Nah. If I was to buy anything right now, it would be a food truck. It wouldn't be a motorcycle. I'm good. It's just when my wife and I retires and my son goes off to live his life the way he does, then she and I can have a bike and we'll ride around looking real goofy, going through America and knowing nothing about the bike life. But you know, that's until that time. For those in Sturgis, have fun.
Yeah.
Talking about different events that are taking place. If I'm not mistaken, next week is the weekend. If it's next, let me see. Let me look at this calendar because I can be certain. But the week of, if I'm not mistaken, it's August 14th, 15th, or was it 19th? Anyway, really soon, in the next week or two, a function is coming here to Atlantic City that they're calling Carchella. Like anyone who knows music industry and knows festivals, Coachella is a big festival that takes place out west. Correct. And a couple 100,000 people go to this every year, and it's a 3-day venture, 3 or 5 day, and people really enjoy it. So this is a spin-off. The car culture and luxury cars and music artists who own cars are all involved in this thing, and it's coming here to Atlantic City. And it's supposed to engulf the city. So you'll see some vehicles that are decked out. You'll see some high-end vehicles. And then you might see one or two of your favorite musicians or rappers or singers here and there in the city. So look out for it. It's called Carchella, and it's being it's headed by, or it's the baby of this DJ Envy is his name. That's what they call him, DJ Envy. I forget his legal name, whatever the situation is. But they're coming into the city in about 2 weeks. So if you're in and around Atlantic City, this place is going to be congested. There's going to be cars everywhere. This is going to be Miami of the North, from G-strings to people acting up, nightclubs everywhere.
But some of the roads won't accommodate those cars, I'm telling you, because the roads... all them drive through the city of Atlantic City. I'm like, oh my God.
Low riders ain't having it. I was saying
I can see the reason why they put a speed limit on MLK at 25. They should put it at 15 because driving 25 will tear your ride up.
The way things are going, I would not be remiss, or I wouldn't be shocked if I see a sign starting to go up. Just park your car and walk. It'd be a sign. Just park your car and walk.
Take the jitney because some of the roads are horrendous. It's out of this world, man. Kentucky Avenue, certain parts of Kentucky Avenue, it's crazy.
We've been crying about it and talking about it, yelling about it, and trying to negotiate with the administration, who's in allegiance with the state to try to get it done. And every time you turn around, you hear them, okay, we're going to do a strip. It's usually the tourism district that gets the first dibs to something that gets corrected. And then every once in a while, we may get a little piece on the side and get a half a block or a block in the community. But if you look at the way things are going, we look like patchwork blanket throughout the city.
Patchwork heaven.
Oh my God, it is bad, and it's a shame because I'm a member on city council, but if people have been paying attention, it's been a thorn in my side for a long time. In the community always gets the last concerns. They're the ones that get the last bits of everything. It's always coddling to the trophy piece called the tourism district and not making sure that the entire city whole, because it's not that damn big in the first place, and not that the whole city should be taken care of.
Yeah.
Do you know about the situation in Venice Park where both bridges are fragile right now?
Yeah. They've been trying to fix that for many years. I used to live over the second bridge. They've tried to fix that ever since the 80s. And they've blocked it off at times.
We've had money to fix it. We've had money on at least three separate occasions that had enough money to fix and replace it. We did evaluation, research, and everything on how to do so properly at least 3 times that I can recall.
But they could have fixed that more when they did the tunnels. When they were building the freaking tunnels running to the Borgata and these other places, they could have taken care of those bridges.
Those whole structures should have been done intact in one place. It could have been done efficient, man, but it wasn't. Although that one bridge, the first bridge, was replaced. Was it replaced? Of course not. Well, no, the actual second bridge. The second bridge was replaced. The first one was reinforced, but the second bridge was replaced. And of course, they did a botched up job, and that's why it's frail and breaking apart now. So it's now to the situation where there won't be. It's not strong enough to hold for bus traffic, so there's no public transportation. Anything that's heavier than a light car can't travel over it. They're soon going to stop from any kind of cars going back and forth. So people who live in Venice Park now can't depend on trash collection. It can't use the big trash containers. They have to put everything in a bag, and they're encouraging everyone to bring the trash cans closer to the bridge. So you know what I mean? Yeah.
Get the frig out of here.
You're paying for a service that you can't get. It's sad. You know what I mean?
Pathetic. It's sad is understatement.
It's terrible. And then we're talking about health concerns. We're talking about emergency rescue concerns. God forbid a fire takes place. They said, well, the firemen are going to get over there anyway. And I'm like, yeah, man, but and that's only in situations of extreme. And I trust my firemen going to get there.
Because they're coming from Indiana Avenue Firehouse right there. And that's the closest one to Venice Park.
But that's the first bridge. But the second bridge is the concern, having to get over into the lagoon.
Yeah, because then you have to go around traffic and try to cut across 30.
But they can't do that from the lagoon. They can't get in. There is only one way in and one way out of the lagoon.
Exactly. And
going into Venice Park, you can always hit off Route 30, which is okay. If that bridge doesn't work, you go around the Route 30 way and try to work with that. But the lagoon is left with nothing in return. And that's what's sad, man. So, and we talked about how the monies were available. We did evaluation. We did everything. We're really proud of how we were doing at one time. Then all the things fell apart. I think MISRA got involved. The state wanted to come in. They diverted funds. People took funds to put it in this and in that, and then forgot the necessity of having the infrastructure that takes care of that.
What's the purpose of paying property tax if you're not getting the service that you're paying for?
That's going to be the question that a lot of people in the Venice Park
region
should
be exempt from property tax until they get this situation resolved.
You know what? If the Venice Park Civic Association and Venice Park, Greater Venice Park community rose up and suggested something like that, what could be contested? It couldn't be contested because they're in a situation left on a piece of parcel that potentially exclude them from safety, exclude them from the rest of Atlantic City. They're just left out there alone. And it's going to be very difficult. So
I mean, they already have prices over there over the second bridge because I've lived over there for a number of years. My mom we owned a house over there at the second bridge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were dealing back, you know, like in the 80s and the early 90s with cancer clusters.
Yep.
Because over there was a lot of paint factories or whatever the case may be. Back there it was a dump, you know, and they actually paved the whole thing down and started putting houses on top of the whole nine. It floods like crazy back there.
Yeah.
So now you know, so these people have enough to worry about than this. They have enough on their plate to worry about rather than this.
So it's just another highlight to the ongoing book of complaints that we have going about not only this administration but administrations in the past, or just the situation, but right now to the helm that's in point right now in the situation, that we've got so many complaints because people are not getting the services that they deserve, and it's not being treated. We went to a meeting the other day that was talking about that, and it seems to be the same meeting over and over again, because a lot of the complaint that I heard from residents was they're not giving us any new information. So they're basically sharing the same information. So I was able to speak with the engineer, and he was trying to give me the information that I was asking for, because I was asking, all right, what needs to get done? And he's like, a total replacement, all this stuff. All right, what are you going to do now? They're going to jack up everything temporarily until they can get the funds to be able to replace it. Okay. And in the meantime, how long is this going to take? Well, we're going to start working on it next year. So you're going to wait for an entire year for something to take place that should be done almost immediately. All this money and funding that seems to pop up to do all these other extracurricular things, including creating a Park of Dreams per se, where this basketball tournament takes place and where there's no residential life, anything. And all the other additional funds that are being spent and seems to be seemingly squandered at times, could have been used to identify and help rectify the problem that we're facing right now. It's not perfect. I ain't going to say all that, but it could have been dealt with a long time ago, and it should have been dealt with a long time ago, but we're at the point in time where it's just getting bad. So people in Venice Park feeling left out, and so they should, because it seems like they have been left out, and they should not be feeling as endangered as they are right now. So my colleague and I are in a process of trying to get as much attention as possible from the state side to see if they can help us move funds to the appropriate measure to get this done and expedite its replacement and repair, so people can feel comfortable in having the egress that they're supposed to have. If there's only one bridge, then shit, at least make it such a damn strong bridge that it won't ever break down.
The strongest bridge around, to say the truth.
Exactly, and it's not a huge bridge, man. It's what, maybe a 20-foot gap that it has to fill. Come on, man.
But let me ask you another question, because you said heavy vehicles such as buses and trash trucks can't even go over that bridge currently now, or are they still going over that particular bridge?
No, they're restricting it. They're restricting.
So a lot of the seniors who rely and depend on public transportation won't be able to access public transportation, but yet they're going to still continue to pay their taxes faithfully as really good citizens and residents of Atlantic City.
Exactly. I think I think one of the negotiations that I had with South Jersey Transit Authority and New Jersey Transit, and see if they can develop a shuttle system instead of the big buses. It'll be the vans that be able to go in that area to give it at least some sort of support during the time of the transition, so they can have some transportation in and out, because the vans are way less heavy than the big buses, and it won't be as difficult going in and out. So I think that's part of the discussion. If it isn't, it will be after we make noise about it. But this is nothing that we're saying is new, because the residents are talking about it and have been talking about it and been crying about it and crying aloud about this, and it's just on deaf ears, sad to say. And and in some instances, it's a trip how a few people were like, I didn't know who my representative on city council was until I recently found out about his disposition, his situation. My colleague who got beat up is representing that area. And they're like, I've never seen him in the whole nine. And I was like, wow. Yeah, but that's him. Okay. So whatever the situation is, if you can get to him, cool. In the meantime, we're going to do what we can to help advocate and trying to get this done, because no one should be left out there in the middle of nowhere without some solution to it. It wasn't their fault in the first place, you know.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt.
and they're not, as you're saying, everyone's paying property tax to try to
For service
maintain.
that you're not getting.
Exactly. So if they would have withheld the property tax, that would be something.
It
That'd
would be
awesome.
justifiable. It would be totally justifiable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, this is election season, and the governor is also running for election, and just like a lot of people running for election.
Yes, indeedy.
So I was saying this.
This is what you call, this November is called the month of accountability. A month of accountability. You hold each and every individual accountable for their own actions.
Yep.
And what you think of them.
Yep, ultimately. Because I was sitting there the other day, I was taking my son to work, and I'm driving midday, and I'm going by the monument on Albany Avenue. Anyone going to Atlantic City knows that that's a congested area. That's also a newly developed area because Stockton University is there. Stockton has taken, rerouted themselves, or placed or came back to Atlantic City. They started here in Atlantic City years ago. This is where they got their start. So they finally came back to Atlantic City with an investment to get here. Of course, with a lot of state support and funds that came about from the state, but they're here. So oddly enough, that whole entire area got repaved right around Stockton. So if you know how politics are, you know that the representatives at the state level in Assembly and the state Senate have a great influence on Stockton. This is their shining trophy. So they're going to make sure all the roads surrounding that look good because they keep pushing this whole concept of it being the new gateway into Atlantic City. They're going to try to keep pushing the assets, all the properties, all the businesses, everything. But just a block away, you have roads that look like grated cheese, look like crap, holes everywhere. You have lights that don't work. It's just, you can see the tale of two cities are so easily visible.
I took a tour of there this week, as a matter of fact. Going over the Albany Avenue Bridge, the road is garbage.
Yep. Going in and around the Bader Field, terrible. You had the walk. A lot of the walk had a new a redevelopment that took place, I would say about 10 years ago, if I'm recalling correctly. And what they did is they took and put bricks, and they just made it, a certain applique look in the road at the crosswalks. Try to make it a nice look or what have you, but it hasn't been attended to. I remember one morning I'm driving by, and I'm seeing bricks missing from the roadway where this crosswalk was created, and I'm seeing bricks being, basically hit and knocked around all the time. And this along with a beat up road in the first place. And I'm like, this is the walk. This is Tanger's Outlet. This has been a trophy of the state, this whole little area. And it looks like this. A day later, here come renovation. All of a sudden, you got people trying to rework it, replacing the whole nine. They do a meticulous, they do a job that's almost meticulous in trying to ensure that the trophies that they hold dear to them are very well kept. But they keep leaving our communities in the dark.
They just don't get the concept, Mo. That's just the bottom line. Because for people to access your so-called, trophy that's shining light upon the hill, people have to drive to get to that point.
Yep.
And if they have a horrible experience driving to get to that point, by the time they get to that particular, trophy, as you would call it, they're pissed off as hell because their car is jacked up, all of the hits, the bumps, and the, and the potholes and the whole 9 yards. And then winter's coming around, and then you're going to see a lot of salt going to be hitting the road when it starts getting, come wintertime. It's going to mess it up even more because, it's going to destroy the roads even more. Wait until next summer.
And God forbid more, inclement weather comes about, because I'm looking at a couple websites of people who they do this as a hobby. They weather watch, and they're taking care of storms and so on and so forth. And this one guy, they call himself the weatherman. He's looking at the different programs, and he's basically saying the same thing that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association is basically saying, that we have a potential on the East Coast, a potential of a major hurricane hitting our general area. And general area is usually about a 200-mile radius. In this general area, in the week of the 14th, August 14th. So that's something to consider. We're still deeply in hurricane season. And Smack dab in hurricane season.
Yeah, this is what it picks up.
You know, and with all that being concerned and all that being, you know, considered, we have potential damage that's going to take and make it even worse. So Atlantic City is just unfortunately falling apart at the seams. And for it to really get back to where it needs to, there needs to be a steady focus on the streets and sidewalks and lighting. Yes. One steady focus, one arm of the government that works specifically with that. And then the entire other portion of the government working with the other portions of the government can be managed differently also. But say if we had parking authority or roads authority, you know, that could be their sole responsibility. If we had a parking authority, the funds that the parking authority can have, if the CRDA wasn't getting $2 per person, we could have actually came back and done the roads over. We could have had an elevated rail system. We could have had so much during the duration of time that CRDA was here.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
You know what I mean? We could have had so much, and it could have been done. But no one was thinking. No one was thinking ahead of time, and no one was thinking long term. Okay, Gina. All right, let's see if I can send it to her.
You know, think about it also too, Mo, is that you come down the Atlantic City Expressway, it's all nice and smooth, you're in cruise control. As soon as you get off the expressway and you make that left by Tanger's Outlet and McDonald's there, the road gets hideous. The road is like, oh my God.
It wakes you back up.
It feels like if you're riding a horse rather than driving a car.
Yep. It wakes you right back up.
Yes, it does.
It's a shame. And then at one point in time, remember how coming into Atlantic City, that was like the thoroughfare, very well lit, all the stuff going on. Tropicana, I mean, you can see it at a distance, but Caesars was there, Trump
Plaza,
location,
the waterfalls and all that kind of stuff. Right.
So
the 40/40 club,
all the stuff was there, so the excitement was there. Now, as you drive in, it ain't nothing. There's nothing there.
Yes, there is bad roads. You make a right off Atlantic Avenue, then you'll find out that you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Bad roads and an empty parking lot. Bass Pro Shop, empty as hell.
Yeah, and I also saw that Trump Plaza, where Trump Plaza sat at one time, it's a dirt lot. I want to know what's going to happen there. That's you know. What is Car Icon going to do with that property next? Because I know he's still holding on to it.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, it'd be nice to see something new, you know? Gina's trying to go on. Gina, I don't have your email. Oddly enough, I don't have your email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to respond to you. Your niece is getting at you. She said, "Be quiet, Adrian. Mo's trying to do something."
I'm not saying anything, so why don't you just chill out and relax? Take a chill pill.
I am sending you my email. See if you can send me something, and I'll try to respond to you because I don't have your email. I thought I did, and it's not connecting. But hopefully we can have the sister. We ain't have her for a while. Okay, G Harpel. All right, I got this. Okay, got you. All right, good. All right, so I'll send the Evite. But in the meantime, these roads are really bad, though.
Yeah, it is. And the situation in Venice Park, that's another level of craziness. Because now the thing about it is, because come September, schools reopen. Don't they have school buses that normally would travel over that bridge also to pick the kids up to take them back into Atlantic City? Because there are no schools in Venice Park over that second bridge. Right.
The first bridge, you do have a school there behind the. It's a small school, village school, behind the football.
Yeah, I don't know where that one is, but still, you know, what about the other kids that's going to like the school?
Any school inside in land, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now, and then. Again, it's and all the kids who have to walk from the lagoon to say West Side. That's a pretty long distance for a lot of kids.
That is a long distance, yeah.
You know what I mean? So in doing so, some of them may have to walk over both bridges. Now the bridges won't be available. So what kind of support system do you have? Oh man, Gina's on.
Uh-oh.
You hear me?
She's in the dark, but she's in the we see the wonderful, what's that ventilation thing that you got going on?
Yeah. The skylight. The skylight.
Gina.
Hey,
Yeah,
Hey,
how you
what's
doing?
going on?
can you see? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Oh my God, I got on with my phone.
See?
Here you go.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh my
What
God,
happened?
the
No,
show has
learning this
improved.
technology thing.
I said, let me try to do it with my phone. Then I run and grab my darn tablet. Oh my God, it has improved.
You got it.
Welcome.
You
Hey,
got it.
Adrian.
Welcome back.
Hello,
How
young
you
lady.
doing?
What's going on?
Hey,
What's up, Sunshine? How you doing?
I'm all right.
Good to see you.
Good. Good to see
Surviving
you
and
too.
surviving, huh?
What?
I say still surviving
Adrian.
and surviving, huh?
You about to get jumped.
What are you guys hanging out together or something or
Uh-oh.
what?
It's a collaborated effort.
They're hanging out together or something.
I think it's a collaborated effort. Uh-oh. They called each other.
Yeah, they're creating a posse.
We about to get jumped, Adrian. We about to get jumped.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Mo, too much male testosterone going on. So they said that we got to jump in on this.
Uh-huh.
Woo, yeah.
I needed to be the backup. I need to be her backup, and I needed backup.
All right, all right. So what's up, ladies? How you
Two
doing?
against two.
How y'all doing?
I'm okay.
Good, good. Nikki, how you?
I'm good.
Good. All right.
Hey, Mo, hey,
Yeah.
they're not going to like me for this one. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night, huh? And the feeling's right.
Oh my God.
It's ladies' night.
I'm good. I text Gina, Mo. I said, you got to go on the show. I can go on there tonight.
Did I just say that? It's a concerted effort. That's cool. It's good to see you. Y'all.
Definitely.
Good to see y'all. Well, you know, we just talking, doing a little complaining. We're talking about the Venice Park Bridge, how it's in disrepair, and we're trying to get some things. But David Seward basically just hit me up a second ago, hit us up, and his question was, you know, we talk about vacant lots and trash littering, and it is, you know, what's sad? There is so much littering throughout the city, all over the place, and. And it's not to say that it hasn't existed before, but man, it is prevalent now more than ever, it seems.
Maybe you need a trash can on every corner. Maybe people and it's mostly people. You know who it is.
Oh, it is. I mean, we
Yeah.
know it's just people walking by, and it's some of it is our people. And I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people who come from out of town and open up their windows and throw stuff out their windows.
Yeah.
Big time.
I just saw a situation on Atlantic Avenue today. It seemed like there was like a minor altercation in mid-street, and it was a white Altima, and it seemed like they were going through some issue with this black SUV. They got out the car, zoomed out, and then they were throwing stuff out the window. I'm like, yo, stop shitting on our town. I'm always telling somebody, yo, can you pick that up? Don't throw that on the ground, please, because you see it so much. Don't go by
the so they take their food and they just throw it. It's a trash can less than 10 feet away from you. You throw it right on the ground.
Yeah, they ain't going to Margate and Vinton again doing that shit.
Nope.
No.
But here's the other shit. At one time, we used to have trash cans all over the place. But you know what was the reason why we don't have it anymore?
Why?
Because they were saying they were tired of putting away fires, putting all, you know, dousing the fires that people would make at these trash cans. And I'm thinking to myself, if we if there's trash there, and if we collect the trash more regularly, there won't be anything to burn, right? You would think. And then because of the activity, people could see ahead of time if somebody's like starting fires, and then you can get it. So it would be a deterrent because people were there, visible. So it's really disheartening because we're starting to get engulfed, and it's sad. No matter how much they want to keep on saying it's a great day in Lang City, I'm like, yo, for real. You can say great if you don't walk in the city.
Mo, it's a great day if you're looking up at the skies, man, but that's about it. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking up at the skies and you're looking at the clouds, you'll say it's a great day.
Yeah.
It's a gloomy day every time I ride through.
Mo.
Yes. Yes.
I can't turn this Facebook shit on.
What? What are you talking about?
Because I'm on Facebook and I'm on the Zoom thing. I can't turn the Facebook off.
Yes, you can. On the same thing?
Yeah.
On the same pad? You doing it on the same computer?
Yes.
You're probably just gonna have to minimize the Facebook. Go up the tab. Look at the tab. Because you have a StreamYard tab and then you have the
You have
Facebook.
two tabs.
You can either close the Facebook tab and just leave the
Close the
stream on.
Facebook tab. That's what's giving you the feedback.
Yeah, that's where the feedback is coming. Yep.
Because we can get the feedback here.
Yep. It's sounding like fairies and dwarfs and shit. You got fairies in your household?
I see some birthday balloons in the background there.
Something got going on. That's her little personal love den that she created. So she can lure some guys in and be like, here, come on in here, big boy.
Oh, Lord. He always
Hey, that's a new one.
You know, hey Mo, here goes a public service announcement. The post office is jacking up the postage stamp to like 58 cents now. So yeah, not to mention they said the mail is going to slow down.
Mo, that's Adrian, that's Nikki.
Oh, yeah. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. Hanging in there.
Good, man. God bless you, brother. Good to see you up and running.
Good to see you. All right now.
All right.
He off today. That's my husband, Adrian, Nikki. That's my husband, Lauren.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, nice to meet you.
He's the man. He's the man. We love him because he takes care of her. We love him. That's right.
He off. He off this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on vacation. He go back next Wednesday.
Oh yeah, so y'all should be doing something on your own, spending some time.
Yes. Yeah.
How you guys enjoying summer, by the way? How are you enjoying the summer so far?
They're masked up and ain't going nowhere. There's still a pandemic out there.
Hell yeah, worse
She's
now.
still scared as hell.
Yes, still ain't nothing changed. We in the house.
It's even worse these days, right?
Yeah. I
you
want to
spend
go out. I want to plan stuff, but I
Did you spend some
don't
time
know.
with your grandkids?
Yes, I was just over at my daughter's house and retwisted one of my grandkids' hair.
Okay, good.
And two of my grandkids went to California with their mom. And I have two here and two in California.
All right. Okay.
So yes.
Okay. Well, I'll call Dad in California if we need to. You know, we good. We got contact and stuff over there. Okay, good to hear.
What about you, Nick? How's your summer so far? How's your summer going so far?
So far, everything is fine. Yeah.
She was in New Orleans a little while ago, so I think
I
she's
saw pictures of that.
still thriving off of the good bon ton roulette going on. Okay. Matter of fact, aren't you planning on doing something else soon?
Yeah, I'm going to Florida on the 20th, but I don't know with Spirit. I might stay my ass home.
You may not be going anywhere through Spirit.
All right, you better check with Spirit. Spirit been breaking a whole bunch of people's spirits.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
After I started going through that other economy company, what's that called? It's green.
Well, Frontier.
Who?
Frontier.
Frontier. Yeah. Once I stumbled on the Frontier, I was like, I'd rather go with them.
Yeah, I was one of their first passengers. They normally fly down to Georgia.
Okay.
You know, so I was going to Vegas. So I take from here to
Where they
Georgia.
fly out of, Mo?
Philly.
Yeah,
Trenton and Philly. Trenton and Philly. They're economical too. Uh-oh.
She feeding her bone.
Hey, Gina, don't show that too much. You'll have Lavrell coming on here next, all right?
He was on last week and she wasn't eating.
You show that too much, Lavrell is going to come on. Trust me.
This is for me. I'm just eating. I'm just getting in the house and doing my grandson's hair. You been ate, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. Yeah, he been ate.
She said, I hope so.
You're at one starving individual.
So enjoy your meal. You have to. Good to see everybody. We were talking a little bit about the pandemic. I know everybody's still fearful about this stuff. It's still a concern. The Delta variant numbers are going on. You saw, I don't know if y'all paid attention, but Governor Murphy basically made another mandate to suggest that everyone that goes into schools in September has to be mandated to wear a mask, which, Obviously, we think it's logical, but
it should be logical. Rutgers mandated us to get the vaccine.
Exactly.
So, and a lot of people talking about this is against our rights. Nobody can mandate us to do stuff. But actually they can. Every time a baby is born, you sitting in that damn doctor's office with that baby's leg ready to get stuck and injected with what? That's a mandate. You have to get your kids vaccinated before they
go to school, yeah. But I couldn't believe all the dumbass white people, because that's who it is, complaining about their child wearing the mask.
Nikki's a robot.
That's right.
I'll take care of all the second bridge with people out of control. Right?
Mo's a robot now, or is it me?
I think it's your connection.
Stuff.
They arguing, calling Murphy all these names and all that. My child ain't wearing no mask. One girl told me, I'm too pretty to wear a mask. I wanted to slap the hell out of her.
Look, death has no, you can be the prettiest person like Elvis, but you still can die. Trust me.
Gorgeous
Death don't discriminate.
And you know what's crazy? The more and more you start recognizing it, you see it all the time, but you don't really think about it. But we're starting to get accustomed to seeing people's eyes and being able to see who they are now because we're getting accustomed to it.
It pisses me off when I see a person's whole face now. How about that? It done did a whole
something's wrong with her.
It makes me mad when I see their face. I be like, ugly motherfucker. I be mad. I don't want to see your face.
I would imagine to some people it's economical if you wear a mask all the time, so you don't have to wear makeup.
Yeah, that's what their problem is. They don't want because they've been taking their makeup off their face. And they can't make up this part and not that part.
The eyebrows are jacked up.
They're gonna have just that part right there, just the eyelashes. Big ass brooms attached to their eyelids.
That's disgusting. I hate when I see girls looking like that.
Yeah, that's what their problem
is. They look like big ass breaks on their eyebrows. You know how you break leaves? But this
and you got some people that really run with it. You know what I mean? They'll have some with license, and you can see it's modest, and then you got some people that have mink and like pubic hair on the side. I'm like, oh man.
Hey, but what about those shoes that I've been seeing on Facebook with these women wearing these things that looks like knives and their shoes and stuff? It's like really pointy tip shoes.
What?
That's some crazy stuff. I'm telling you. Yeah.
What website? What site you be on?
Was it an S&M site?
You're a friend of mine.
I've seen. I can imagine.
Did they have whips too, Adrian?
I don't know, girl. I don't know if this conversation, is legally for a guy of my age. You know what I'm saying?
You're using the age. There you go. You have privilege. I like that. I like that using age privilege. But I see a whole bunch of stuff like that. But that seems to be a big industry. I was cracking on my wife because she all of a sudden started wearing the lashes. I was like, "What is that?" I looked at her the first time she wore it. I was like, stuck. I had no conversation. I'm looking at her like, "Why are you doing that? Who the hell are you trying to impress at your age?" And she stopped wearing it because me and Ja, we're hard on that. We're like, look, my wife is beautiful, natural.
Yeah, my husband don't want me wearing no makeup, no nothing. That's why I don't wear nothing. I no.
That shit costs too much money anyway.
It made me look dead last time. I guess because last time I tried to the color wasn't right, but I looked like I was at my funeral. So I never wore it again.
Okay.
See, that's the thing about it, because some people just have natural beauty. They were born with it. But then some people try to acquire it. Totally two different things. You can't fake. There's the whole saying, you can't fake the funk. You know what I'm saying? You got to.
But the ones trying to acquire it are already beautiful. Maybe they trying to extra enhance it, and it's not necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
They're already pretty. The ones I see that wear it, I'm like, what are you doing that for?
But I tell my wife all the time, 90% of the women nowadays do shit like this to impress other women. I'm like, us guys. We're as primitive as possible.
Yes, and you guys are starting to say it now. They starting to talk about the eyelashes and stuff on Facebook. I'm like, good. They finally mentioning it.
To a woman without teeth that's bald and bruises, whatever the situation, if they got a great personality, we can find a way to be attractive. That's just
Even if they don't have any teeth, I mean, bananas can be real good.
I don't like him.
You know what I'm saying? I saw this lady on television yesterday, this white lady, and she said she could put an entire Coke can inside of her mouth. I'm like, wow. Yeah. And she put like 8 carrots inside of her mouth. She says she has one of the world's biggest mouths. I says, I wonder how many dudes will really like that.
Oh Lord, I'm leaving, Mom.
And she stuck an entire cocaine inside of her mouth. That's crazy.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying? What's she saying?
I'm going with you. Where we going?
I'm not leaving, girl. Shut up and get back on here.
Adrian is keeping it real. We all see different things here and there. My man just sent me this video. Yo, my man just sent me a video from TikTok, and he does an Instagram, and he shows it to me. And it's this young girl, young Caucasian girl, taking this blow-up doll. You know how you make up these blow-up balloons to make animals and stuff like that? She took this one that was long as hell and began to put it in her mouth. And it goes off, and this thing had to be at least almost 3 feet long, and put the whole thing in her mouth, all the way down her throat and the whole nine to the very end. She swallowed it. All I kept thinking was, I hope she don't die for rubber in her mouth the way trying to be
Exactly.
off to somebody.
He's trying to beat a record.
I'm like, that's a problem. She ain't alive. Swallow something like that, she ain't alive.
She could suffocate herself big time.
Hell yeah. The shit that people do to trying to look sexy. I'm like, come on, man. Stupid. But that's how we are as human beings, ain't we?
Yeah.
You know, but speaking about stupid, what do you think about that Como stuff going on, man? That seems to be like the fire and desire these days.
Pimp Daddy.
11.
He's gonna have to face it because Pimp Daddy.
They're gonna leave my boo alone. I've been loving him since the pandemic. We gonna get up off of him.
Oh, you know what? But let's keep it real. As
He's
a human
Italian.
being,
He likes the kids. What the fuck?
But I don't know about anything else. I mean, he was also the one. Remember earlier on that sometimes you caught him with a shirt on, he didn't have his jacket on. You can see his pierced nipples through the shirt and the whole nine. So my man naturally is a little beyond the norm. You know what I'm saying? He's into some shit that some people may not be. So I wasn't shocked by it. I was a little disappointed because I like him as a politician. I like what he says. He argues with people. I like him as a person. But I'm not doubting that he's kinky, and he may have done shit he shouldn't have done because, unfortunately, guys, we mess up at times.
I was going to say, what man don't?
Yeah, we mess up sometimes. You know, touching somebody like, yo, I didn't mean to touch you that way. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. In the back of the head,
skeletons in the closet, huh?
Yeah, somebody got a whole boneyards, man. But that's something he got to face.
Give up some of his information, Mo. Come on, tell us about AG skeletons.
I'm not aware.
Hey, Mo, don't tell her. Let her buy the book.
It'll be the 4th volume in his book. Why not?
Buy my ebook.
Why not? My wife jokes around how she always says that I got a lot more bones in my closet. I'm like, no, I don't. The thing is, I don't keep nothing in my closet. I don't hide shit. I never did. But I think Andrew Cuomo's situation, I think is more political, man, for real. I think because remember the state attorney in New York turned on the Trump family and went to prosecute the entire Trump family.
You talking about Letitia James?
Huh?
Letitia James? She's the attorney general.
Right. So in New York, the only person that's higher than attorney general is the governor. Because the governor can take her out of position if need be. So who are they going to try to get at her? Is the governor. Defame him, take him out of position, put somebody else in to take her off of the trail of Trump. So that's why I think it's political. I'm not saying he didn't do it, but I think it's more political.
Especially, come on, in a few months you have the election. Get for real. But at the same time, you're looking at the attorney general. These guys also looking at the Trump family. Criminal charges in the District of Manhattan. That's another situation that's going down also. But if they take Cuomo out of there, if they put a Republican in there, he might let this whole thing, blow over with the Trump family.
And it's protecting the guy that says grab her by the pussy, and you got
yeah, for real.
This is the double-edged sword that America is. We love to talk about someone else doing wrong, when we ourselves are doing 10 times worse. That's that whole system. It sounds like Atlantic City, don't it?
Yeah, but you talking about Trump. I don't know if you saw recently, he came out with an official Trump card where he actually misspelled the word official. And this guy has round up. He has a war chest now of $100 million set aside.
Shit, man, please. He's going to be the only one trying to convert it. The war chest.
Well, he's going to spend that on legal bills. You know, he's cutting that stuff up as we speak, but he doesn't want to pay Rudy Giuliani though. He's stiffing Rudy like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, Rudy he's going to get his. Rudy going to jail. He's going to finally realize being a snake.
Rudy's going to jail.
Rudy's done.
Yeah.
He's going to be somebody's belt loop babe. That's on him. But that's the stupid stuff. Have y'all been paying attention to the things going on in Venice Park, Nikki? Oh,
yeah, with the bridge issue.
Before I continue, I made sure that earlier on I gave credit where credit is due and said that you had spawned the idea to have some people possibly assist renters that are at risk to get some assistance through the federal programs and the government programs, to be an asset or an advocate to people. And you had jumped on that concept and submitted it to an administration. So I want to make sure you got your credit.
Thanks a lot.
So, and I also mentioned how LaToya and I are on board and helping in this. And Adrian says on the other portion of it, working with people who are in a mortgage situation to help in that situation. So because of your keen sense of what responsible people are and caring for people who care, hopefully we'll be able to help a lot of people. So you'll see that coming soon.
Caring for the community, Nikki. That's the way to go, young lady. Caring for the community.
That's right. That's what social workers do, right, Mo?
That's right. That's right. Finding solutions, not just talk about the problem. That's right.
Hey, I'm a social worker.
Yeah, you
All
are.
of us are, girl. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's right, Gina. That's right. You are.
That's all four of us.
You have to be social.
That's right.
You have to be social.
We work for the betterment of others. That's right. We work for the betterment of others. That's right. So let me give you a little heads up, y'all. Since y'all basically in the same arena as myself, working with helping others. Recently, just Wednesday, we had a outcry or vigil to support the needle exchange program in Lang City. And going on, there's more and more information. This is going to take place going forward. I know, Nikki, your concern was the placement of the needle exchange and some of the ancillary programs being so close to residential life, right?
Yes.
And I think the majority of us basically feel the same way. That it's a much needed program, but to place it in a place that's more serving to the clientele and less of an issue to the residents in the area. So I think right now it's in a stalling process that the governor is on board to help support it, but he's also talking with vital entities in the community that might be able to assist to place it in an area that's better suiting for the clientele and less of a problem the way they say.
They can place it on Tennessee Avenue at the old John Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, Creta don't want it there. Creta don't want it there.
Well, I told you, I said the day that John Brooks went out and it became popular, open property wise, a certain somebody who's having, it seemed like the top official here in Lang City made a phone call to somebody who's an ally to him to show him that whole building where John Brooks was. The same day that it was made available to the general public as an open property, he made sure it became available to this group of partners in New York City who go and buy property. Same guy who's on the radio.
To do what with it?
I don't know, but if he's
As
going to
long
buy
as
it,
they do something good, and maybe they can start, because it needs something positive.
Gina.
Positive, yes.
You said good. You said the word good. Good and that particular subject don't go together, okay?
We know that, right?
It needs something positive. I'm saying it needs something positive there.
The only thing I can see that group coming in is try to redevelop it and make it high-end condominiums and a redevelopment and
beachfront. Beachfront, yep.
Yep. Making it super expensive for other people, making it a big ass hotel that people can't afford. That's what I see them going, because they don't know. When we talk about development in the city, very few think about the wholesome of Atlantic City. It's only about what they want in their specific area. In the past, the administrations, mayors, and different public officials used to communicate with these developers to try to engage them in including different parts of the city. That's why when the casinos first came in, they adopted schools sometimes, or they adopted full communities and streets, like the Javits. There's certain areas that were built, communities that were built from casino dollars because of the partnerships. So that's the kind of stuff we need to reintroduce to engage them. If you're going to come in and develop, have also some other stuff that includes the entire city, not just the set plan that you have, and have an all-inclusive package plan that includes that. Whether it's making sure that you adopt playgrounds to keep a playground together, making sure that lighting is appropriate, making sure that the streets are taken care of by you, making sure that you don't become more of a burden on the general infrastructure of the city, and then how to include programming into whatever you're developing.
Wait, Mo. John Brooks, isn't Bellevue Avenue across from there?
Bellevue? No. I think Bellevue is up in Texas, right?
No, Bellevue. What's that street?
I think it's called Ocean.
Ocean.
I think it's called Ocean.
No, you talking about that alleyway in back?
Like an alley going down there, right across.
What is that?
That's Ocean.
I don't know what John Brooks is, and I'm thinking on Pacific Avenue.
Yeah.
Between Tennessee and South Carolina Avenue on Pacific.
You go,
like a lot of like abandoned little
rooming houses. Yeah, there's a street there. What's that street called?
I'm about to pull it up.
No, and John Brooks was also on Tennessee Avenue, the women's.
I know that one, but I'm talking about the one on by the pizza place and all of that stuff.
Yeah, that was
the
middle building.
Huh?
St. John Brooks.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's a street right there with all them drugs and stuff. Ain't nobody coming in to stay there.
And they already got a hotel, like a little like bed and breakfast. It's not even a bed and breakfast, over top of that Chinese restaurant. And you should see them coming out the building. They be like, "Oh my God!" But that's
scared as hell.
But don't they have on South Carolina Avenue, South Carolina and Pacific, just about a half a block down? There's a hotel right there.
Well, I'm glad we left, because it was no good for us. So I'm glad we left. It's a new environment for them. Everybody seems more positive instead of looking out the window and right there on that street. John Brooks did a good thing when we moved out to Mays Landing. It's beautiful, and I'm so glad.
Pleasantville? Don't they have in Pleasantville also in the shopping center?
Yeah, that's the main building.
But they have another one also in Mays Landing?
Yeah, the one that for the clients that was on Pacific Avenue, the men's building, and the female one that was on Tennessee. We both moved to Mays Landing. It's a beautiful big facility. And it's not. I mean, it's just woods when you look out the window. So it was they made a great investment.
For anyone who may have, let me see if I can go to street level.
I see Perry's.
Yeah, Perry's right there. I'm trying to get the street view so you can see it. For anyone who's paying attention, this facility right here is the facility that we're talking about, the John Brooks Center. It was located right here, and then the avenue, the street that we're talking about, is called Ocean Avenue.
Yeah, that's what I said.
On Pacific Avenue, because right on the corner is called Pico Liquor.
Yep,
now, who you think
and the hotel that you're talking about is the Courtyard.
Exactly, that's the one I was talking about.
This is the Courtyard by Marriott.
Yeah,
right, that's the one you were talking about.
That's it.
Right. So you have this. So, but check this out. You have this. This is the school board. This is the building with the school board. It's still for sale. That building is still for sale. And you have this medical center right here. That's a clinic inside. So you have virtually this whole half block that could be potentially sold, including. Let me see if I can come up here.
He said medical field.
What'd you say?
Medical field. You talking about 1616 Pacific Avenue?
No, right between Atlantic and Pacific Avenue on South Carolina Avenue, right? You have a clinic, the Health Med Urgent Care Center.
Oh, okay.
Right, but you see where, like I said, the John Brooks Center was back here. You have all this house block, this whole block here. You have this open lot right here, and you have this firehouse, and this is the school board. So you have everything that's here is potentially can be bought as part of a package to make a redevelopment. But here's the thing, also inclusive to this. You know what's right next to all this? It's the area they consider the Orange Loop, where all this money seems to be dumped for restaurants and bars. And a lot of it is being spearheaded by a young man by the name of Mark Colazzo. He owns a lot of the facilities here. Him and I actually went to college together, and I found out later on. I was like, oh, snap, okay. But this is right here next to this Orange Loop. This is what they're trying to protect. We're trying to build on. And South Carolina's right here. It's always a block. So you have open territory. So this whole area, this Orange Loop, is something that's been devised as this new entertainment complex area that they're trying to build on. So because the John Brooks Center is right there, it's right where the Orange Loop would be. So that's just something to look at, y'all. That's what it is. But the Ocean Avenue is right there. The Ocean Avenue was known to have a lot of traffic, unfortunately.
Yeah, nobody gonna build no condos right there with all them people.
I don't know what it is that because so many day boarding houses and stuff like that were on Ocean Avenue and 1-bedroom hotels, in the conversion of this Airbnb thing concept, a lot of those areas they're no longer available for the same people they had before.
Yeah, well, the rooming houses are being bought by Creta. They're buying them all up,
right?
So that they can change them. They're not even going to have rooming houses anymore.
Exactly. So this is part of a big plan that they're going to try to jump in and be a part of. And if this new developer that's a friend of the top official here in Atlantic City is coming in on the radio, why wouldn't he come in and make an investment that possibly can lend him and make him multi-million dollars in profits?
Wow.
But that's what's developing out there.
She come right home and start ironing her husband's drawers.
What a woman. What a woman. Don't burn yourself. We need to finish it up.
Yeah. Make sure them creases.
This is my uniform for tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, we need to finish up what you started.
Get it in. So
got the iron at night. I don't be looking for nothing. My bag is packed with my sanitizer, my gloves. Everything is packed. I ain't got to run around looking for nothing in the morning.
I still have to look. I still can't find the extra large mask because every time I got a big head. So my mask I need to have to be at least another 1.5 to 2 inches longer to cover the same area that everybody else has. You should see me trying to go to the hospital, and they just covering here like I can't speak.
Hey, Mo, just take a washcloth and put 2 rubber bands on the washcloth.
I mean, I made my own mask, but in certain arenas, like walking into the hospital, every time I take my son to get a treatment in the children's hospital, they want to make sure you have medical grade stuff, and I'm like, look, I use N65 fabric and all that stuff. They're like, no, you got to do it. And it only covers my mouth like this much, huh?
What do you think? What about New York? Once that started getting vaccinated, a lot of people said, let's have a mask burning ceremony. They started burning their masks. So now they got to go back and get it.
They got to reorder it.
Yeah.
But I see, remember, for a while there were people suggesting that they double up on their masks, even triple. I saw one person wearing 3 masks. I was like, how can you breathe?
Right?
Because a good N65.
Yeah, alien.
And good N65 mask works pretty good, and if you put 2 on top of them, it works better. But it's kind of difficult. But if you put another mask on top of the shit, I'm like, if you're living well, yeah, you are an alien for real.
If you got to do all that, you need to stay the hell home.
That's right.
All you need to do is not go around no big old crowd. You ain't got to worry about putting on 8 masks.
Yeah. Talking about crowds, did y'all see the pictures of Lollapalooza in Chicago?
Who?
Yeah.
The concert in Chicago, Lollapalooza.
No, who that?
100? No, it's a festival. 100,000.
She said, "Who that?"
100,000 people in a park, shoulder to shoulder, at this concert series for hours. Lollapalooza. They were bugging.
I put myself to the test. I'm gonna be honest, and I was wanted to wait and make sure I was fine before I made this announcement. But since we on the new norm 2.0.
Uh-oh. Oh, drum roll, please.
I actually took 2 of my grandkids, first time spending time with them, took them to my employee picnic, which was in Wildwood last Friday.
Uh-huh.
I walked in there, it was so many people. I had a mask on, regular people plus the people from my job. So I'm like, and it seemed like I'm the only one, so I took it off. I said, I'm gonna have faith. I said, I have the antibodies because I just had it in April, so I still have the antibodies, my own. Plus, I've been vaccinated and well over 2 weeks vaccinated. So I said, I'm gonna see how it plays out. I'm going to do my own experiment on myself. So
That's bold.
yes. So
Okay.
I took it off. I congregated. I got in the pools with people and people all around. I was just having fun. I'm like, you know what? I'm testing myself though. Okay. I said after this, I'm going quarantine. I went to work Saturday and Sunday. I said Monday through Friday, I'm a quarantine, and that's what I did. Except for today, I went and just did my grandson's hair. But no,
isn't this the lady that was saying I ain't getting that shot?
No symptoms. I have nothing. I survived it, and this happened last Friday. So I said I was gonna make it known that the vaccine must work because I was around thousands of people's kids all around. This is Maury's peer. So. And I made it. So I'm like, the vaccine, I'm doing my own investigation. I'm like, to me, it works because I was around all these strangers that I didn't know from a can of paint. And I've been vaccinated. I have the antibodies and I was safe. And it's safe now to say a week later that nothing happened.
Good. Very good.
So I'm announcing that on a new norm. That's what happened. I said I'm going to keep it a secret till I make sure that I ain't had no symptoms or nothing. But I'm fine.
You know,
hey,
yeah.
Tomorrow her arm gonna fall off, Mo.
She's gonna announce it on the next show.
She's gonna be all right. She's gonna be all right. But it was good that she was able to do that. But you know what? Think about that.
Yeah.
I'm glad
my
you feel
first
good about
time out around people. First time.
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna put it to the test. I said if I fall sick, they say the symptoms is mild, but I went through nothing at all.
That's good. Very good.
Yeah, that's good.
But stay away from the Johnson & Johnson one, folks, because I've heard some Johnson & Johnson have always had products that has been not consumer friendly.
Right, like the powder.
Yeah, not consumer friendly.
Every time you turn around, something Johnson & Johnson's messing things up. From having
Johnson & Johnson could have gave me a Band-Aid.
I remember the first time I heard issues with Johnson & Johnson. Remember when non-oxynol 9 was being used in condoms? Johnson & Johnson's products, they were used in condoms that they were deteriorating the condoms. People weren't even feeling safe. They were wrapping it up and getting trapped up with products. I was like, damn.
Yeah, they don't have a good reputation whatsoever, man. I'm telling you.
No wonder they sold it. That one time it was a black-owned company. They sold that shit quick. Any which way, but it's still to be concerned. But I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. And then Maury's here too. What?
Yeah.
I can imagine the kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Maurice,
Yeah.
I took my son at the age of 2 swimming at the park in the background, and he caught hand, foot, and mouth disease there at Maurice Park. Maurice thing, and it broke my heart, man, because the whole thing was we didn't know what the hell. When we heard that shit, I said, "Oh no, my son, not my son." It wasn't as tragic, but it was something that really scarred him for the rest of his life per se. But when I just recognized it, and peers like that can be really like the epicenter of spreads because so many people go to piers. We were up on the pier here in Atlantic at the Steel Pier, right?
Mo, have you been vaccinated yet?
I honestly have not.
Have you had
What the hell are
COVID?
you waiting for?
Have you had COVID?
No, you know what?
Jesus.
In actuality, I'm assuming I did. Early on in 2020, I was
Okay, well, you know the antibodies been gone because they only last for 3 months. So if you talking about 2020, you ready for another round?
no. The situation is about 6 months antibodies, but that's not nothing to rely on anyway. They're doing 6 months of reliance. That's why the boosters.
What are you waiting for?
Honestly, it's not about a point of waiting now. It's just making sure that I get the right one. Because every time I go, exactly. Every time I go to get to see if I can find somebody with Moderna, they're like, no, they only have Pfizer. And then
I got Pfizer.
So did I.
A lot of people have Pfizer.
Yeah.
But the concern that I have, it has to do with me, is I had AFib a couple years ago, right? And my heart is still side of like it's volatile.
I'm gonna find you a Moderna. Go ahead.
So I just know that in the Pfizer, in the reports dealing with Pfizer, it was the Pfizer that had instances where people's heart had issues. It was usually younger people, but it wasn't in Moderna, and that's why I was looking for Moderna. Moderna's issues are a little different, but I didn't find Moderna to have issues with the heart. I don't want anything to potentially make it a little more difficult for me. That's all. But I've also worn my mask. I'm still wearing my mask all over the place.
No, man. No.
Did your wife get vaccinated?
You ain't wearing a mask that day when that guy was spraying your ass.
What day? What day was that?
That one on Martin Luther King Boulevard.
That
one kept walking. And then
she's talking about when they opened up that restaurant and that guy was talking to you. That's what she's talking. I know exactly what she's talking about. Where they opened up
with you and Latoya, when y'all was out there on the corner talking, that one was angry and he came back.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah. I didn't. I know what you're talking about. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep. It's when we were making a plea.
I'm gonna help you find Moderna. Shit, if it's Moderna you want me, I'm gonna make some calls. I'm gonna find Moderna.
Well, was Trini vaccinated?
She is.
She is?
Yeah.
We got to get you done, big man.
Yeah, she is.
Your son too?
No. I'm trying to encourage him to do it. I'm
See,
really.
You talking about encourage? I told my daughter to do it or get the hell out.
She mandated it. That's Nikki's mandate.
Yo.
But this mandated it. In all,
now that's a mandate.
That's a mandate. A man and a date. Your date is to get the hell out. I'm the man.
Adrian is a fool. No, she was like, you ain't have to say it like that because I was gonna do it anyway. I said I'm just making sure.
That's right.
I'm actually, you know what? In the process that I am, I have to do. I got to do better in trying to make sure, because I'm scared as shit, man. I really am scared as hell about all the situation from the COVID-19 and the vaccines, because
it's logical.
It's a logical situation because I just saw Willie D of the Ghetto Boys in his webcast. He said something that really sparked a question in me. He says, never before has a solution been presented to poor people for a health concern of such magnitude. Never before. Usually the poor people have to be waiting. The first people who get it, usually the wealthy. In this situation, it was the poor people getting it. Why is that now? and for what reason? It's always curious because we've always been left to fend for ourselves when it came to major health concerns. And like I said from the very beginning, I'm telling everyone, I'm not telling you not to be vaccinated because ultimately I want you to make a decision you feel comfortable for because your life is extremely important. But I don't want to make a mistake and was like, I'm one a lot of times about a gut reaction. I have my sense of understanding. I think is pretty good. Not to say I know it all, but I learn, and I'm always looking for information. Always.
Yeah.
And, I don't knock anyone for doing what they do, but I need to have information.
I'm the same way. That's the information I collected. I watched other people personally that got it.
Yep.
Watched, they didn't die. Then I started thinking, I'm like, damn, the doctors, they went to school for this. They've been studying this for years.
Yep.
I said, I'm in school for social work. How dare somebody tell me that I don't know what I'm doing? Yeah. I'm like, this is a doctor. I'm like, and if they wanted to start killing us, why wouldn't they do it in the vaccination of the babies? Yeah. Why not take them out? Because every month, soon that baby born, they got to go and get that shot in the leg.
But so that's too obvious. So that's too obvious.
But the other question is,
once in a while, no.
But here's the other thing that came
every
to
other
mind.
one.
And this is just me thinking about things, pros and cons here and there. This is not to say anything encouraging or discouraging anyone else. Please, as a disclaimer for the New Norm 2.0, we're very concerned about your health. We want you to always be very concerned for your health and make sure you make the best decision for yourself. We don't suggest or recommend you do anything other than what feels good to you based on the information. Do what's right for you and your family. Point blank. In my situation, you were talking about babies. I remember it not long ago, and I kept thinking, if population control was a big thing, who would be the people they want to get rid of first? Senior citizens. We're talking about people who are aged and everything. We've seen stories like Logan's Run back in the 70s. That was a movie that talked about getting rid of the old people. And this is the other situation. Minorities, and we're talking about people of color. Well, this vaccine was tested in areas that were primarily people of color. Africa, Brazil, these are the areas that struck most, and now the variant struck hardest in those areas. And who would you need to leave alone and left so we can repopulate the world? Children. Babies.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have the billionaires who are actually building spaceships to get the hell off of Earth, and if a lot of these people at the same time, remember when COVID first hit, it hit a lot of the senior, the nursing homes and the hospitals. It was like running rampant through these places. So the bottom line is, like I say, anything is better than, it's your own personal decision, but at the same time, you're holding your life in your hands. Where have I seen where individual says, "Oh, I was planning on getting the vaccine tomorrow, but I got hit with COVID today." So tomorrow is not going to come for that individual. God will help you if you make it through. So you don't want to be into that predicament. You don't want to be into that predicament whatsoever. And that's something that you touched on, because they're looking at probably after September at a booster shot, because they come to find out the breakthrough in some of the vaccines now with the Delta is what's happening. Who is one of the Senator Lindsey Graham? He had a breakthrough because even though he was, received a vaccine, he still ended up with a form of COVID from the Delta. So you need a booster shot coming down the pike. Furthermore, you are looking at the vaccine passports. That's going to become very popular also, because it's hitting Italy right now. It's hitting France right now. One of the and it's going to be hitting the United States. New York, you have to prove that you've been vaccinated before you can go into some of these restaurants or some of these other places. So it's going to become very tough for people to get out and move around like they used to.
But here's another thing. The government of Israel mandated to Israel, its citizens of Israel, the second booster, they halted all the second boosters. Like the booster shot was starting to be encouraged that after 8 months you do it. Now it's starting to be recommended, now mandated. So
yeah, it is mandated.
There's so much information that's still to be had about the intensity of the depth of COVID-19 and how it affects and how it moves, but also the intensity or the efficacy of the vaccines. Because now they're saying, because of the long-term thing, when you get it, your vaccinations are good up to 97% for the first 3 to 4 months. And then it starts decaying after that. You're down to a limit. To like,
at the end of the day, Mo, 600,000 people can't be wrong. When 600,000 people die from COVID, that's too damn much.
Yeah.
Just too damn much. Under any circumstances.
Hey, Adrian,
You know?
remember when I say these things, this is not to try to. Nikki, what are you doing?
I know.
Cleaning the hell up. Why?
Because you're loud.
Yeah, put it
I'm
on
sorry.
mute, girl.
I'm sorry, y'all.
But call mute.
But what I was saying earlier, is when I say these are things I just ponder here and there. This is not to sway anyone's thinking.
Yeah, we're not.
This is not to recommend to or from, because I want everyone to be fully familiar with it. And if we talk about numbers, numbers, depending on how you look at it, can tell you any story that you want. Is it real? Hell yeah, it's real. Is the threat there? Hell yeah, it's there. Do you have a potential to protect yourself? Yes, you do. Are some people more protected than others? Obviously, yes. Traditions have said it. History has said it consistently. Can you do better? Yes, you can. So each one of us have to do so. I'm just intrinsically a person that don't trust shit. I don't trust anyone and anything.
But
I don't trust because of historical proof that
historical precedents.
people are not to be trusted. And because so many things have been militarized and so much vitriol throughout the world, racism, bigotry, politics, thievery, all this, it makes me less likely to trust in it. However, I was going to say earlier, there was a physician that had made a TikTok that he said he broke it down. He says, in the beginning, I myself had questions here and there, but more and more I started looking into the data, and he's running off data. He says 98% of nurses are covered. 99.8% of all physicians now are vaccinated. All of these individuals, and he's running off the titles and so on and so forth, are medical professionals that are saying they're vaccinated. They're vaccinated. I said, that right there is a great testimony. But I'm going to ask the same question. How do we know that everyone's taking the same vaccination? How do we know that the vials that you took is the same vial that Nikki took, is the same vial that my wife took, and anyone else took? It's
not life though. It's all about faith. When you walk through life, you have to have faith. Faith without works is dead. You gotta have faith. You know what I'm saying?
Preach it,
If you don't have faith, what the hell do you have? Because you're a conspiracy, theorist, and you've mentioned that many times. So I can see what based on the Tuskegee experiment and some of these things. But remember, after the first major pandemic, the reason how they got out of that was through vaccination, because even though it never eliminated it, it reduced it. You see what I'm saying? Because people still get smallpox here and there, or whatever the case may be, swine. It never eliminated it, but it actually reduced it, and that's what this vaccine is all about. It's not going to eliminate COVID, but it's going to reduce the spread of COVID, and that's basically what it's all about.
Well, the vaccine itself is not to eliminate or reduce the spread of COVID. It's intended to help people with the systems or the symptoms of COVID, so it won't be as hard and probably save some lives.
Correct.
And that I applaud, and that's definitely a good.
The hospitalization, that says a lot of people.
I had to send you the voice call because I got up so Mo wouldn't see me get on the phone. They wouldn't hear me talking on the phone, and I would interrupt.
I'm about to, Nikki, I put you on mute because I want to hear your conversation in the background unless you're talking to us.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that predicament if you have, underlying condition and you end up with it. God forbid, I pray that somebody, that survives this.
That's why
I always wish the best for people, and that's what it's about.
And then that's another thing. There's underlying health concerns for myself. There's underlying health concerns for my son. There's underlying health concerns with my mother. And all three of us we hard-headed by nature, sad to say. But I think I'm the leader in all this stuff, trying to encourage them. I'm trying to encourage my son because I'm very fearful for his life, because he has a tendency of being around a lot more people that might be reckless than I would, per se. And in my mother's situation, like so many seniors here in Lang City, they enjoy going to the casinos to play their pennies or nickel slots here. So that potentially puts her in harm's way. So I'm always scared of them. My son has this champion type of atmosphere. He's like, yo, I'm young, I can fight it off in the whole nine. And I applaud that courage that he has. but I don't want him to ever have to test that.
You don't want to gamble with that, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to gamble with that.
Exactly. So I've talked to him on a few occasions, trying to encourage him to get it. And I even thought of maybe we can just engage it, him and I, and then we'll go together.
Yeah.
But my deepest fear is that in succumbing to the fears, that I make a deathly error in doing this, and in the end,
Can I?
The worst thing happens.
You know something? I want to interrupt you for a second because I mentioned to you that my friend that passed away, about 2 months ago.
Right.
Okay. Right before his birthday, he was getting ready to turn 59. This past July 11th.
Right.
He was so concerned because he was another individual that did not plan on getting, this vaccine whatsoever. And I respected his point of view. There's no doubt about it. But then he ended up dying from a stroke. You see what I'm saying? So some of the things that we fear so much may not kill us, but something that we're not paying attention to may just probably end up, ending our lives. So, and the thing about it is, so somebody who was afraid of getting, I have 2 friends of mine and their families, they're not vaccinated also. But at the same time, like I said, I pray that nothing happens to them whatsoever when it comes down to this COVID nonsense. Because people out here, you cannot control human behavior. People are reckless.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how, people, even some of the colleges right now, they says, okay, we're going to mandate it. If you want to come back on our campus, you must be vaccinated within a certain period of time. If not, stay at home. If you say that, hey, it's my religion, or if you say, this is not a problem. We have a religious board that will evaluate your case. If you say that there's a medical condition, we have a medical board that will also evaluate your case to determine if you can or cannot be vaccinated, and if that's a legitimate reason. So a lot of colleges and universities are putting all of these triggers in place right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's your
son's going to college, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to go to community college. Unfortunately, we can't afford sending him somewhere else.
And so
we have to.
That's going to have to be a situation that you guys are going to look at.
Mm-hmm. That's another reason why. Again, like I said, I'm encouraging him to be vaccinated, because in this situation, in his youth, I'm a little more fragile than he is. I'm a lot older than he is, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived most of my life, so if something happens to me, I have a lot of history that still remains, per se, from what I've already done. He hasn't really lived much at 18 years old, so I want to make sure he can extend and live all of his life fruitful, whatever he can. So I'm encouraging my mom, because she's fragile in her old age, and her situation, she's hard-headed. She don't trust people. She and I are cut from the same rock. Of course, mine may have a little bit more of a, as you say, conspiracy thought process, but more of a strategic and very intellectual process to it, because I'm looking into it. I'd rather look into it than just say, nah, the devil's doing it. Nah, I'd rather look into it. I want to know about it. I want to feel good about it. So I know what I'm doing. So, but I'm leaning that way. I really am. I am leaning that way. I just want to make sure that in the process that of me doing it, I don't make the wrong choice, because this is a life or death process. You have to make the right decision. You have to make sure. I'm not knocking anyone's choice.
It's an independent decision. But like you said, you got to be wise about making that decision, because it's a life or death, just like you said, situation.
Yep.
I've seen some people, at the last minute, can I get the vaccine or whatever? They're like, sorry, you got to make it out of the hospital off of that ventilator first, player. It just doesn't work that way, so it's your right. It's your right. That's what I've always said.
Yeah. And it's still, I wish there was more of that conversation that hasn't taken place in the minority community. A real, straight up, no holds barred, deep conversation about the truths and the conspiracies dealing with COVID-19. Because there's so much information that's not being talked about.
Well,
we know about in the beginning of COVID-19 how it says that the actual virus itself attacks the coronary cardiopulmonary region of your body, the system, through the blood. It's not an oxygen situation. It attacks the oxygen in your blood. So if it attacks that, why aren't we dealing with it that way? Then the other aspect is it's making men sterile. So there's so many different facets that were talked about in the very, very beginning about things that they found out. Now they're not talking about it. I'm like, why aren't you talking about these things? You should be talking about it like crazy and not just riding the same wave that, yo, just do it because we said you need to do it. I'm tired of seeing that shit.
But see, the thing about it is you have a lot of governors and these guys are actually giving away as a lottery, $1 million, that actually, puts a very negative connotation. You're going to win $1 million if you take the vaccine. So you're going to get the vaccine and you don't win the million. You pissed.
Yeah.
You just took something and you get $1 million.
Or the incentives.
Yeah, all of the incentives. Giant Food is doing the same thing. This says if you actually take the vaccine, we'll give you 1 year of meat from Giant Foods for an entire year. If you actually fill out this form, and then take the vaccine. But if you don't win, what now? You're just screwed.
Shit.
You walk away feeling really bad because it's like
employers are giving incentives for people to be vaccinated. I'm like, there were so many different things in this marketing plan to market a vaccine that devalued the importance of the vaccine. Yeah. From the lotteries to the stupid shit incentives all over the place. And I'm like, and then they're still trying to look at different ways to try to encourage people to do stuff. And I'm like, every time you do this, you devalue life and you devalue the importance.
Says he's going to give everybody $100 if you get the vaccine now. What? Yeah. He said he's going to give everyone $100 if you go ahead and get the vaccine.
Who said that?
Biden.
Tell Biden sit the hell on.
And we're
I'm with you.
And what do we what's our automatic response? That's what my life is worth, $100?
Exactly.
Yeah, for real. You ain't got to pay me because I was getting it.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but in your situation, you made an asserted effort to make sure you did it for the right reasons. You didn't have to be coaxed, you had to be bought into it. And that's the whole thing. I mean, you made your decisions. Whatever decisions you make is an intimate decision between you and your God, whatever the situation is. And it's not impeded, it's not affected, and it's not encouraged by anybody else's actions outside other than people that you love.
But you see, the thing about it too, Mo, because a lot of these QAnon individuals, you will move around and say, you see, the government is trying to trick you because now they want you to, they're going to pay you $100 to get the vaccine. They're trying to kill us off. And a lot of people will go around with that conspiracy theory. And they will feed off of that negative stuff. Because remember, when Trump got the vaccine, he never told anyone many times over, but him and his entire family received the vaccine first. He never said anything. So there was those conspiracy theorists running around saying, they want you to win $1 million. The government is trying to kill us off. There's the reason why. And it's going to deter a lot of people from getting the vaccine for those reasons.
Let me as a precursor say this. When you say QAnon, you say QAnon type people, you're basically making a broad stroke aspersion on people who have the sense of, as you say, conspiracy theory, because they think about things in every which way. If there wasn't a conspiracy theory, 90% of what has happened in America wouldn't have happened. When it comes to justice in America, it takes a conspiracy theorist to get justice when injustices took place. But
you see, the thing about it is when I say the QAnon people, the reason why I said that because a lot of them believe in just the government. They went over to the government. They're the insurrection. You saw that they were full of there are certain people conspiracy theories, and then you have some people who are told whack jobs that just got released from the insane asylum. So try not to mix it up. There's two different types that I'm talking about here.
That's what I'm saying, because QAnon, the origin of QAnon wasn't involved in none of this stuff. The origins of QAnon wasn't involved. And then these people were just acting up at the insurrection using the QAnon. And this is the broad stroke America that like to say the same conceptualization that they did with Black Lives Matter. A broad stroke aspersions based on what you assume. So that's why I'm like, conspiracy, the process of theorizing things and the conspiracies involved is healthy. It's necessary.
Well, you know,
to do it because they'd rather sing Kumbaya and think that of the goodness and nature of everyone, and that's not always the case.
Because you're a conspiracy theorist doesn't necessarily mean that you're a QAnon member. Because remember, different. Those QAnon people are members. When you actually talk about conspiracy theory, you could be an individual doing your own stuff. You're not a member of QAnon. So there's two different categories that we're talking about here.
But QAnon
is an organization.
It's not an official organization.
Well, it's an organization. You know, it may not be official, you know, but it's an organization.
Okay. It's an entity that people make aware.
It's an organization. When all these people get together, they organize. And when it becomes an organization.
Because you got quite a lot of different.
I don't want to call them a gang, because if you say they're a gang, then you go look at the Bloods and the Crips, because those guys are gangs.
Should you call them gangs? Just like police officers. Sometimes police officers act like gangs too.
Yeah, so you know what? So you don't want to call them an organization. You prefer to call them a gang. Is that what you're saying?
If it's a negative situation that works on a negative to a person,
understanding.
If it terrorizes, if it causes harm, then it's a gang. If it terrorizes and causes harm, it's a gang. To me, that's how I look at it.
Okay. Potatoes, then that's where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, each way, it's still an organized gang, because there's some gangs that are very, very organized.
Yeah,
you know,
and cartels.
Yeah, and political parties and politics. There's organized gangs and criminals everywhere.
Look at Mickey.
No, he said that one politics. I started shaking my head.
So I'm like, we can run it off until the day changes over. You know what I mean? About who we consider organized criminals and everything. It's just, when it comes to theories, it's just, the only reason it's a theory is because you consider things. It's when we stop thinking about the variations in life and we just let things flow, it may become easier, but you also become susceptible to someone taking advantage of it. And that's what I've seen. And that's what I hate about humans. We have so many that are willing to take advantage of you. And we want, intrinsically, we are people who are loving people of color, African descent, and all the diaspora, including Caucasians. Everyone who's deriving from the African diaspora are loving, caring individuals who care for one another. We are known to look out for one another. In the hardest situations, we will help one another. You know, if we're going through a tragic situation, some sort of crisis, we will intrinsically and naturally go to help one another. That's how human beings are. But it's their element of human beings that are predatory, that look for opportunity to take advantage of it, to use some things that are good or things to consider that are right, to hide the shit behind them that makes it even worse. That's what really angers the shit out of me with stuff. But if it wasn't for me thinking like I think in theory and some of the conspiracies, would I have thought long term about some of the shit that I'm facing today and still been talking about for the last 10, 15 years in my local community? If people paid attention, you would notice it. It wouldn't be a theory. It's the truth. But when it comes to health, ultimately, we need to be healthy. We need to take care of each other and take care of ourselves better. That's one of the reasons what attracted me at Vegans R Us was because they have healthy food. One of the things that we do in our household now is trying to elevate the amount of green, leafy vegetables that we have in our home versus the meat products or the cheese. You know what I mean? So we're trying to live better, and I'm trying to live so I can live stronger, and my immune system's be increased so I can defend myself from this and any other boogeyman coming down the pike.
I'll send you a copy of my other book then.
Okay.
My other book. I have one coming out I want to release, and I have another one coming out after that. It's like over 500 different diabetic recipes and stuff that you could actually eat all natural. Okay.
I have about at least 1,000, 2,000 recipes in my head. You know, I can rip out a recipe
or something like that. So
I love food.
Man around the kitchen, you're pretty good with the kitchen, so I've heard.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting for my damn plate.
Yeah, please. Wait for plate. I mean, every time you ask for something, I make sure you got it. Didn't I?
He told us his son was gonna have this big ass barbecue for his graduation. I was like, man, I'm gonna get me some good ass food. That's all I was thinking about, is to go over there and get me a plate. Some good.
I wanted to have a barbecue, but the truth of the matter is, the reality came about. He graduated, wasn't going to school. Why? Because we can't afford it.
They ain't got nothing to do with the food, bruh.
It's you being greedy.
Nikki,
I always make enough food that you can get a plate.
This ain't got nothing to do with the food, bro.
The way I was brought up is if we make food, if I make a plate, there's enough for everybody to eat.
All the woman wanted was a plate. Mo, she could get a plate. It might be an empty plate, but it would have been a plate.
They're not breaking out windows, so don't play with me, Adrian.
I can make sure she eat. I can make sure she eat good, healthy food. That's all. I make food at least 3-4 times a week, so it lasts throughout the week. So,
how did you like the food in New Orleans, Nick? You was down there for a while.
Yeah, it was so good. It was good as hell, Adrian. I wish I was with my homegirls instead of my siblings. Because I would have I would have been acting up down there, boy. There was so much going on. No, I was getting my drink on, but I couldn't do stuff with my brother and sister that I would have did with my homegirl. I had to make Jerry B's and everything, boy.
He was drinking them hurricanes, and
enjoying. I brought home like 6 bottles, 6 of those long
cups of hurricanes.
Yeah. And the food was awesome. The food was really good.
Well, you know the thing about it, you sample the area. Now, next time the trip is with your homegirls. Next time, we're heading back down there. It's all girls to fear, you know?
Yeah, I was eating all kinds of fried alligators, all kinds of shit. It was good.
I told my wife, I said, if we get an opportunity going again and shit, we make sure we extend the welcome or the opportunity to you and everybody else. I said, we can bug out. We have fun.
Yes, I was out every night on Bourbon Street. I was like, shit, I'm going out.
Yep.
Nice.
Next time I will make sure I go to the Brickwater.
To buy weed, Mo.
And there's a lot of options over there because they're
rolling by and we got good weed. I was like, man, should I do it? This is my luck. I go back to work and they be like, you gotta take a drug test. I was like, hell no.
You know what? And there's a restaurant that just recently opened in the Breakwater section that is food that is cannabis or CBD infused, THC infused. All that stuff is weed infused, all the different food. I'm like, oh shit, that's on the other side. The one I was telling you about on the other side of the river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I didn't get a chance to go to, but I heard so much about it. I said, next time I'm going on it, making sure I'm going over there. But any which way, I'm talking about Louisiana. I'm actually looking to have a boil, an actual Louisiana boil. I got to talk to somebody about getting crawfish, getting at least a 40-pound, the big giant bag, at least 1 or 2 of those. And then get the other seafood locally, but that you can only get from there. And then set up my cooker outside and just everybody sit down at the table with, get your eat on.
I'm in. Just tell me how much mine costs.
Huh?
I said I'm in. Just tell me how much mine costs. Man, am I doing it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just do it. I said we share an expense no matter what, but whatever.
Just let us know.
I'll let you know. We're able to work it because my wife likes the idea of a boil. We went to this place locally called Crabs du Jour, right, in Williamstown. It was pretty tasty. What I ate, you know what I mean? Because my mother-in-law wanted some king crab legs. And I made a boil for my mom and my wife not long ago, and they really didn't like it too much because Louisiana-style boils are spicy. You know, they got heat. Mm-hmm. So I made it a boil because I asked them, I said, you want a Louisiana style? She said, yeah. They didn't know what they were asking for. So next time I make a boil, it'll be milder. But
you don't give me that hot shit. Yeah.
But think about it. A Louisiana boil usually has the andouille sausage, the potatoes, and everything to mild it down. But you also have bread baguettes, and you always have lots of beer. It comes together, all lots of beer. So all that stuff, you know, the heat process, it weighs it down. That's why probably a lot of those people don't ever get sick too down in the Creole country down in Louisiana. They don't get sick. All that shit burns it off.
But they some drunks.
Yeah. If I'm able to do it before the summer or shortly after, I'll let you know. I'll invite you over. We just sit outside and with some music, and everybody can get their eat on.
All right.
Bugs and crabs and shrimp and whatever else we can dig up.
Some liquors, like.
I stack a beat. I stack I keep mine stacked. If you look over my shoulder, you see I got a couple bottles sitting on top. Even the homegrown wine that I made.
Yeah, nothing, Mo. What do you think about that Olympic joint, man?
Which one?
Obviously the 2021 Olympics. I see a lot of people bringing home gold these days. Like my girl Allison Felix, I think she's up there. She has a bronze medal.
I'm happy for Allison Phoenix, man.
Yeah, she's really a mom, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, they try to deny her because she went and had a child.
Yeah,
that's foul, man. And then she turned around and had her own brand and got in there and whooped these young girls' asses out. I said, I'm happy. I'm happy for you. She's whipping somebody's ass, right? Matter of fact, she's running for she's at silver right now in the 400-meter.
And she has 10 medals, man. Check that out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The most amount of any female athlete as far as track and field.
Oh, she got a bronze. She got a bronze.
She got a bronze, yeah.
Yeah, she still got it. No matter what, she still.
No doubt. Yeah, I believe 24 individuals from New Jersey competed in the Olympics.
I think Mo.
Mo, man, that chick, I'm telling you.
Bad. I love I think Mo.
Sister boy, she runs I'm telling you, like nobody's business.
It was so many Jerseyites. Yeah. Even Bruce Springsteen's daughter doing the wealthy person's shit with the horse. I was like, okay.
Yeah, scurrying, yeah.
It was good to see. What's that? My man Fink, the swimmer. He's from Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of Jersey people, but I was watching, you know what? I started watching the Olympics and I started really considering these Olympic athletes, a lot of them are poor as hell, man. They have to live through poor circumstances to be able to
man. They come
from hard times. Yeah. You know, some of them, the ones that are professional, they're limited to what they can earn, and they have to dedicate themselves so much for this 2-minute race. They have to depend so much on.
Yeah, but a lot is writing on that. A gold medal is worth about $1 million. I was just going to find that out not long ago. Imagine that.
And in some countries, these athletes, like I saw this about Ethiopia and Somalia, a lot of these long distance runners, like I always wondered, I was like, damn, they must be living it up, these long distance runners and everything. Yeah, when you see them and they have this look on their face of endurance where they have to, it's because they have to. This may end up giving them income to help support their family for the rest of the year.
And then some, generations.
And it could, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it really depends. Because they're in their country, they're not able to keep that's property of the government. It's not theirs.
Really?
That gold medal in their Olympic
represent the country.
A lot of these countries that are represented there, the medal that they win is not theirs per se. It's property of the government. So they can't like all of a sudden sell the gold.
And the gold medal.
And I wouldn't bring it home. I'd give it to somebody else and tell them to send me some money.
Can you do that?
But the endorsements, from TV and commercials is very heavy for these guys.
Those that can be. Oh, McLaughlin, Sydney McLaughlin.
I like her, man. That's one of my
me too. I was like, okay, man. Okay. Yeah. I love the spirit of
it. Yeah, she was that was very serious.
Yeah.
She got down to business and she's like, something, I'm done with you guys. And she just left them behind there.
Yep. I was looking for the young boy, Eric, what's his last name? No, what's his last name? The 17-year-old. I was waiting for that phenom to really go out there and strive. He did really well for 17, but not to the extent that I thought he would. Noah Lyles.
Noah is something else, man.
Noah is exceptional. He's weird, but he's awkward. I ain't gonna say weird. He's an awkward young man.
These guys are young. Imagine if they do it in their 20s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're just getting started. 17 years old, 18, 19. They're just getting started.
Think about it. He's also running against the granddaddy. What's my man's name? 38 years old. The runner from the U.S. What's his name? 38 years old, running in the Olympic trials. I said, damn. I said, that's something. Because not only did he run against Carl Lewis when he first started, he ran against every iconic sprinter and runner in every Olympics in the past 5 Olympics. I said, that's amazing. And he's still out there kicking ass at 38 years old. I said, God bless him. Can't remember his name right now, though. I just keep saying, he keep reminding me because he has this small little, Hitler-like
Yeah,
mustache.
I know exactly what you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking about Hitler, I watched a documentary on that guy in the Olympics. He was a mess. Hitler was all messed up, man. Jacked him from the floor up in many ways. But but Jesse Owens tore them up, man. Four medals.
Mm-hmm.
Can't keep a black man down, I guess so, huh? Because like I said, a lot of them, France and America is going tonight. Is it tonight or tomorrow? For the gold. France versus America. Yeah.
Basketball?
Yeah, basketball. Yeah. USA and France for the gold medal.
Yeah,
but some of the professional athletes, man, on their first game with France, man, France took advantage of those bad boys. But then again, those guys like, look, we had to fly X number of hours from the U.S. to come all the way to frig over here. So they had jet lag. That's what they said. So we're going to see the next game.
I kept laughing because so many people wanted to believe that the American team, is the bomb and all this stuff. I said, don't.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Because you had the young boy who plays for Dallas, who's from Serbia, kicking everyone's ass. Then you had Australia, you had Patty out there showing that, and the NBA is one thing, but out on the world it's another thing.
Yeah, it's a different stage, man. It's a different stage. You could ball in America, but when you get out on, it's a different stage.
Justin Gatlin.
The cities in the States too. That's why I used to tell my son, y'all can beat everybody in South Jersey, go up to North Jersey and New York, them guys down there, y'all gonna have a problem.
He said y'all gonna have a problem, a big problem.
Yeah, because people up north can play basketball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, some of these guys and growing up uptown in the inlet and stuff play basketball until the wee hours of the morning. It didn't matter, or early in the morning and stuff. They live, eat, and breathe basketball.
Did you get to North Jersey?
Yeah. Yeah, Newark, New Jersey, some of those guys up there.
It's just a different dedication. I say the same thing. I said, no matter what, basketball is basketball. It really depends on the type of defense or the type of, in order to be the best, you got to beat the best.
That's right.
So
that's what I always say.
If you're not constantly looking for better players someplace, then you're never going to increase, because crazy enough, there's a place outside of Maryland called PG County that has the most NBA players that come from that county. And Maryland ain't really known for basketball. You would think all the urban cities, Philly, Chicago, New York, and all that stuff, and you got other places here and there. But nah, PG County in Maryland has the most NBA players because they have the most exciting basketball leagues because they're most challenged. Mm-hmm. So the game of basketball really depends on the type of opposition. You got some ballers that really ball, but they never get a chance. It could be the smallest thing. Go ahead.
I'll tell you something. My cousin, one time he stayed with me in Atlantic City, many years ago. And I'm like, okay, come on, cuz, let's go play some basketball. And I'm like thinking that we're going to beat the hell out of them, got my boys together. This dude was flying all over the damn air, man. I'm like, what the hell? I thought I was looking at a 747. This freaking guy is flying up there. I'm like, yo, my freaking height, and you flying up there and slam dunking and stuff. I'm like, yo. I'm like, I had enough of you, man. You won't come back here no more. This is, I was flying all over the place. They come to find out he was like one of the best ballers in his freaking school. I said, no wonder he was flying all over the damn place.
The guy I was talking about, his name is Justin Gatlin.
Yeah, Gatlin.
Justin Gatlin, the oldest American sprinter at this point in time. There's somebody older. It was a long distance, 44 years old, but that brother was out there. He's the old man in the block and still running them down like nothing. But talking about basketball, man, I really love watching the Olympics for different various reasons. I love the track and field. I like watching basketball a little bit, not as much as track and field and swimming. And then the oddball sports like handball. I was like, yo, all in. The handball was kind of cool. Badminton. Yo, we talking about some serious. You ever watch it?
I can beat that one.
Yo, have you watched it?
You look like you can play a good game of badminton.
I ain't playing badminton.
Some of these countries, like in China, yo, they get in it. And I'm seriously violent in the whole nine. These sports that you think are just tables, summer camp games here and there, like ping pong and shit, yo, they take it to another level. Table tennis, ping pong, badminton, squash.
The 20K walk What about that one? The 20K walk. These guys are walking fast. That's all they're really doing. But you know, yeah, they kept
Grinding
walking like
them.
that's a sport. And they were trying for gold medal walking. Hey Nick, what do you think about that one?
Grinding.
They were
Grinding.
walking real fast. The 20K walk.
Right. You know, have either one of you watched the Paralympics?
No, I didn't catch that one.
That shit,
I've seen it before.
it is the most inspiring thing I've ever seen. Man.
I've seen it before.
I'm sitting there a couple nights ago. I just stumbled onto one, and I was just thinking it was the Olympics, but I didn't see that it says Paralympics on it.
Paralympics, correct.
You know, and so the Olympics, just watching the Paralympics, I was sitting there crying and rooting these guys on because they're no arms, no legs, and swimming. And swimming their asses off.
Yeah. And
running with no legs.
And playing basketball too.
Yeah. On wheelchairs and what have you, races and all that. And then it gives you a certain sense of reflection. Like, you know, these people have the limitations that they have, and it doesn't stop them. They're competing at exceptional levels, and they love the sport, and they're going out there. Like I said, I was watching these guys in the pool, and all I kept thinking was, is my man's core is in the water, and he's still swimming. Is, you know, he doesn't have his hands and his legs, and he's still swimming.
But you know the thing about it, it goes to show that, you know, even though that you don't have these body parts, you shouldn't stop living. And that's the thing about it, and challenging things. That's what they've done.
The human
they never stop living,
The human spirit. So if you lose motivation sometimes, all you got to do is watch that for a little while. The energy is in there. I'm rooting for them. I'm like, yo, this probably took place a couple of weeks ago, months ago. I'm still rooting for them. Like, yeah, you know, all in, watching the stuff, getting emotional. It's just, it's a wonderful thing. You watching the human spirit actually execute, man. Because, you know, I catch sometimes, like earlier, being complacent about the things that happen sometimes. It ain't just always coochie crunch, you know what I mean? But to see something like that as a reminder, like, yo, maybe you should be grateful for what you can do. Stop worrying about
it. Wake up, bro. Every day that you wake up is a new day. It's a new chance to get things right. You know, if you screwed up yesterday, today's a new day. Get it right. You know what you did wrong.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the best part of life, man. That's why I enjoy life. You know, turning 57 tomorrow. I've enjoyed life.
Birthday boy.
I've done a lot of things.
That's right.
That's good, man.
57 revolutions around the sun. That's right.
Oh man, happy birthday, old man.
And now, baby, just a young spirit. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
You can't call him. He ain't claiming old for shit.
I'm not mad at you, Adrian.
You know, when I was young, I used to say 50 was old until I got to 50. I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't old. What are you talking about? You know, because a lot of people never made it to 50. Much less to say they're going to get past it.
It's crazy, man. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes, Adrian, you may have once or twice here and there because you're good and you're comfortable. But Nikki, I don't know if you've ever do, but sometimes I catch myself thinking, "Damn, I'm this age. I don't feel it. I don't know what I was expecting to get at this age. Like my mindset, my mind thinking. I still think like I do when I was 18, 19 years old. I'm, you know, better refined about it. But my mentality, sometimes I have to remind myself to physically to some things I can't do. Mm-hmm. You know, popping shit, and you know, and you got some young bucks out here. I can defend myself, but let's get real. 2 18-year-olds could probably do a lot more harm on me at me 51 and a little fragile.
But you see, the thing about it is, you know, when you get to a certain age, you know, you should have been there and done a lot of those things already where you don't need to prove anything else from this point moving forward.
That's what I was about to say, Adrian. I think that I gained the reputation where they know not to step me.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
I'm not worried about fighting them.
Oh no,
they know. No, I'm just saying. The thought doesn't even come to my mind because I knew what I was capable of doing. So a lot of them kids' moms is telling them, "Don't bother her."
Leave us Nikki alone.
Oh yeah, but you know what? Even that in the arena of every day, you never know how things go because people are stressing and bugging, and people just act up at any reason. Like I think I told you a little while ago, young guy. I'm trying to be helpful. He didn't like how things weren't moving as fast as he wanted to and snapped and looked at me. He's in his 20s, you know what I mean? He's looking at me like a man this way, man. I'm looking at him like, yo, for real, man, I'm your elder. I'm 30 years older than you are, but you're talking to me like we equal and so on and so forth. I'm like, realistically, we're not. You're much younger than I am. I'm an elder. I'm an older kind of person. There should be a level of respect if there's not a physical disrespect here and there. But he chose not to. And it was still a concern. Like, I run into situations like that because of the arena that I'm in politics. You got motherfuckers who confuse shit. First off, you got old ass men that keep thinking that they're young, messing with younger girls, which is foul as hell. Then you got older women who don't want to recognize that they're older, still playing around with younger boys and acting like they're much younger. You know what I mean? And some of us just don't want to accept the realities of being as old as we are. We are successful enough in life that we got to this age. Some people have not.
Well, that's not strung out on drugs, because I look at people and I be like, damn. And I love when I see, no, for real, Adrian, it's the truth.
Yeah,
I was telling this guy in my office the other day, I'm like, I'm 51 years old. I don't need this man to babysit me. And he's like, what? You don't even look 51. And I'm like, thanks. I'm like, but there's a lot of girls that I went to school with that look horrible.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it because I've worked in the casino business. A lot of people, think that I was around their age. To tell you the truth, they're like, yo, how old are you? I was expected to be in like the 30s or 40s. I'm like, hell no.
That's because you was mature. That's because.
Yeah, and the thing about it is because the way I keep myself, a lot of people respect me.
Now you carry yourself, that's because you were mature,
Yeah, that's where, I roll. So I don't get, wherever I go. I was inside of an Applebee's not long ago, and this young lady was, was talking some kind of nonsense. I'm like, look, please. You know what I'm saying? That's all I have to say. Look, please. You're not playing with somebody else, off the street or whatever the case may be. I've been around. So don't try to play me.
Yep.
You hear that, Mo?
That's right.
You hear that, Mo? I've been around.
The thing that bugs me out is every once in a while I run into a situation where I see somebody who's clearly at least 10 years younger than me, right? Someone runs up, granddad or grandmom, and it's not really like, yo, a lot of people had kids really, really early.
Wow, yep.
Really, really early. And a lot of them, especially in this area. So at my age, I'm 51 years old. Can honestly say I've only been married once in my life. I have one biological child. I've not ever gone to jail.
You don't fit the stereotype.
I've not ever dealt drugs or took drugs. Not ever. I've never stolen anything. So it's a rarity. I'm rare in this situation.
You sure are, because I counted about 5 of them that I
don't have.
And she was doing roll calling on mine.
Adrian, as he's saying, and I'm like, well, that counts me out.
Hey, Nikki, you tell Trinity don't mess up.
Here's the other funny ones. I don't have baby mama drama. It's like crazy, right? Yeah. And I don't have a desire to go sleeping around with some young girl. What the hell she gonna do for me? My wife, I'm good. What the hell she gonna do for me? I look at him like, yo, all right, you look good. The package is nice. What the hell you gonna do for me? Please, you can't bring nothing to the table. My wife got this. I got that. We good. I don't need it. But I guess I'm a rare breed. And I guess that's why people act and treat me like
me. I can Trinidad start my own business, the whole 9 yards. I don't have any kids or none of that. People like, yo, some people like, yo, what's the deal with you? You know what I'm saying? Nah. It's just that, like it says, you enjoy life. You don't have to bother about getting high or getting drunk. You get high off of life. Enjoy music. Enjoy the time with your friends. Bless you.
Thank you.
And that's what it's about, enjoying life.
It'd be bugging me out.
It's no different because even myself, when I get out of my car, my left knee will tend to give out periodically. But I was involved in a lot of car accidents back in the day where I even had surgery on my left knee. Right. So every now and then it will affect me during, when it gets the weather.
Yeah. I've had similar, you know what I mean? And that's the funny shit. I'm sitting there, God bless you. And the more and more, like I said, sitting there talking with my wife, I said, there's certain things that you see regularly. And it's only because it's a city. We're living in the city, so you have a tendency of seeing a lot of stuff. People have children early. Okay, great. Yeah. they have multiple people and they have multiple
It's pretty nice.
mothers and fathers, whatever. It is what it is. Right. It is what it is. I ain't gonna say I'm that rare, but my type is rare. But it's all good. You know, it's like we said, we choose our lives. You know, I was a little bit more choosing in my life. Not to say
I'm
that
not ashamed of nothing I did.
no, because it made you who you are. Exactly.
Yeah.
It made you who you are.
It molded you.
Yep. So it's all good. I mean, I don't look at anyone for the trespasses of the issues and whatever situation. I don't look at them any different. Nope. I only look at them what you present now. Whatever you lived through, whatever you suffered through or struggled through, made you who you are. Yeah, who you are now is what I see.
It should make you a better person when you make a lot of mistakes and you learn from the errors of your ways.
Yeah.
And that's what life is all about.
Yeah. It just bugs me out when people think that because I've never gone to jail or never sold drugs, that I can't see things through their eyes. I'm like, yo, I know what struggling is, so I know what the hell that meant and what that felt like. So,
you know, like tomorrow night, but what I'm gonna do, you know, on the radio again, the old school, strictly old school deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have a party over there for Leo's. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm gonna pick it up with a lot of, you know, old school birthday party songs and stuff. You know,
I saw that.
From there, huh?
I saw that. You that's your happy place now. Okay, I see you.
Exactly. You know, that's where I could express myself to be free. You know, I don't have to run around and do any kind of craziness. You know, I can just do all my music from, you know, from back here. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about. You find a happy place, and then eventually you can turn that into it's a hobby, and then you turn it into a passion, and you turn it into cash. You know, everything is lucrative.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, right. And what is it? AG Styles?
You know, agstrictlyoldskool.com.
Right, agstrictlyoldskool.com. I noticed how if you look at it, when I saw the link that you had and I saw the hands on the turntables, on top of it you see the exact web address through the server and all that stuff. It's a little different, but you know, of course they have the
like I said, anybody could create their own stuff, you know, from these guys, but there's another technical aspect to it, whereas getting it to go live. You see what I'm saying? It's like me, I could create websites and stuff, but then getting it to go live, you need a different hookup.
Right.
And that's what I'm able to do.
Right.
It's all technical stuff, huh?
It's all a good thing because you have to be able to, you know, blend and build on it.
Yeah.
Just like being able to put a little music in the background while we're talking right now, as we finish off the show.
Yeah.
Just as we finish the show.
But your collar, Mo.
on a t-shirt, right? But I tell you, it's cool to see how things are going. Like I said, when it comes to classic music and so on and so forth, I just saw, what was it, last night? No, 2 nights ago, I saw a battle between 2 rap groups that were in my time frame, which was the Locks and Dipset, and I was laughing. And my son had this look in his face like he don't get it because he comes from a younger generation. And generationally, we support our own music. So that's when you have your strictly old school, I'm like, ain't nothing but classics. You got classic shit that you can rock to. It's about good music and have fun, man.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
It is, man. It is. Well, listen, we're at the 10 o'clock hour and everyone else bailed out. I don't know if Nikki intended to and Gina intended to, but it was nice seeing them.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Definitely always enjoy their company. There's no doubt about it.
Hopefully we'll get the queen of the kitchen, Laurel, to come back in another time, and maybe some of the others. But we're going to close out, if you don't mind, bro, and make sure you say your piece.
Yeah, agstrictlyoldskool.com is where the website's at. You could actually go there tomorrow night. We're going to be jamming until midnight. That's what it's all about. It's all about music, fun, and entertainment. That's where we're at. You know, one. Second of all, we already know about COVID. And like I've always said, Mo, be smart, be strong, be positive, and test negative. That's where it's at. It's all about life, my brother.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I love the music in the background. It gives it a very good personal touch, by the way. Just let
a little something. I was trying.
I can roll all that stuff over. I can be that DJ, just roll that whole stuff over. You know what I'm saying? Just hold my breath.
I didn't get it up on time, which I need to get it because I told you before I got the hardware that I should be able to hit the buttons.
You got to fade the music in as we go across. So, you know what I'm saying? Because I do the same thing also. You know, when I'm getting ready to sign off, you know, I have a nice song going through it. It just tells, you know, thank you for joining us the whole 9 yards.
Yep. So I just got to get it together so it's more liquid, man, because it's more refined. But I appreciate you coming as always, man. You help the information get through out there, make sure everybody's informed, and you help the conversation continue. Because sometimes, like I said, I started out, my spirit was a little drained. I'll tell you honestly the truth. Oh, Miss Nikki is sending you happy birthday.
Happy birthday to myself and to you also as well. We share one day after the other.
That's right. My mother-in-law.
Blessings to you.
Her birthday is on Sunday. Adrian, our famous Adrian, the one-man show is tomorrow. So they're both Leos. My mom's was last week. So to all the Leos celebrating birthday, happy birthday. May you be blessed with many more years, bountiful blessings, lots of cake and joy. Whatever it is that you enjoy, may you be surrounded by it.
Yeah, Barack Obama's birthday was the 4th. She shared the same day as my niece. Her birthday was also the 4th. You know, and with the Meghan Markle, her birthday is also the 4th also. Meghan Markle, yeah.
All right, Meg. All righty.
Not to mention Whitney Houston's birthday is on the same day as your mother-in-law.
Oh,
it's the 8th of August. She said it's her birthday.
You heard that, Nick?
Houston, yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, Whitney Houston. And Curtis Blow is on the 11th of August. So he'll be celebrating.
You're keeping a hell of a calendar. Okay.
I remember on the 28th of August, you have Bill Clinton's birthday coming up. I'm telling you, a lot of popular people. I'm telling you.
It just goes to show you, you know, a lot of important people around August. So
yeah,
July and August.
A friend of mine, she's getting ready to have a grandson, and he's coming in August also. So we're gonna have another addition to the Leo gang. You know. I said he's going to be independent, he's going to be strong-minded, and he's going to make sure things happen.
All the lions in the house. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll give you a chance to say your 2 words. If you already said you had it.
Yes, I have.
Okay, cool. So at this moment in time, I'm going to close out by saying I appreciate everyone tuning in, for those of you that got a chance to tune in. If you didn't get a chance to tune in on time and you're catching the end of it, you're willing to go down to thenewnorm.club. You'll be able to access all the information that we share here. In addition to, there's links to all the previous shows that we have, and any of the incoming information that comes about. In addition to, you'll also see a link to our radio station as well as Adrian's. I will say this, Adrian's is a lot more exciting, a lot more inviting. So go check it out to his, because ours hasn't got revamped just yet. But either which way, it's love all the way around. So go check him out. Go check out all the different entrepreneurs and businesses that we have available, because we try to make sure that we highlight minority businesses and small businesses that have, you know, the endeavor to try to be big, and let's help them motivate. Recently, I was able to go to Vegans Are Us here in Atlantic City, supporting them. So if you're in Atlantic City, if you're looking for vegetarian, highly helpful vegetable or plant-based food, you can go visit them. They're located at The Walk here in Atlantic City. Right across from H&M restaurant, and enjoy yourself there. It's good food to go. And as we move on, there's always a chance to highlight initiatives coming up soon. And I think the next week, you'll see a lot of grassroots programs, do back to school programs that are giving book bags as well as school items. And if I'm not mistaken, there's some that are actually looking to give out uniforms. However, we don't know how the situation is. There might be another year of home-based learning, and you won't need a uniform, but if they do, we'll make sure we keep people informed. Just pay attention, y'all. There's a lot of love going around. Make sure you're part of it, and let your children thrive as long as they possibly can to stay alive. It's extremely important in this time period to appreciate life for what it is a gift.
Exactly.
COVID-19 is showing you too often that it's easily and fragile, easily to be taken from you. So if you believe in vaccines, vaccine. If you don't, get your history on, get your learning on, do what you can to stay healthy, and make sure you're conscious in protecting yourself and everyone around. Because ultimately, it's better to be 6 feet apart than having to be buried underground. Right? So as my man Adrian likes to say all the time, make sure you test negative, but stay positive in life, because there's only one to give. Y'all be blessed, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.